Yo, what's up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to the live stream. Sorry we're late. I'm late. Sorry. My fault. As usual, you guys know I'm doing a bunch of stuff, but I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and if you guys can hit the subscribe button, that's going to help the live stream. And shout out to Destiny G. Jess posted that they were. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jess. Appreciate it. Yes, I was having technical difficulties. It was my fault. I apologize. But do me a favor, if you guys can hear my audio, hit me with a number 3. And I'm about to check out the live stream right now here on the phone. And happy Friday to everybody. I'm glad you guys are here. Today, man, there's going to be a lot of questions answered from my side. I'm going to give you guys my opinion, what I think, and also I did a reaction to this Jess 808 on the channel a couple of days ago, and we have her here on the show, so it's going to be a great show. Let me just double check here, and we're gonna start. Yes, we're live. Let me see. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, I got the audio going. So let me hop over here. And Jess, welcome to the show. Welcome to Activate LA. I'm glad you are here. Sorry, I didn't give you a little cue, but
It's all good. No problem.
how you doing tonight?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. You know what? I was kind of like get a little bit tired, but right now I just got a little pumped up, so ready to roll the show.
Good.
Yeah. So, it's just 808. I just introduced you yesterday to the show. I did a couple of days ago. I did a reaction to your TikTok videos. Can you tell our viewers right now that are watching a little bit about you and what you do on your
Yeah,
channel
sure.
TikTok?
Sure. My name's Jessica. I'm on TikTok, as most people probably have watched this case on more in depth. My TikTok is at Miss Jess 808, and I'm actually an on-air radio host here in Hawaii, Pop 101.9 FM. When the news broke out about Hannah, I was really intrigued by it because she was a 30-year-old female, kind of in my age bracket, from Hawaii, going to LA as a solo traveler, as we thought. And it just really intrigued me because, she had all these sketchy text messages. She disappeared all of a sudden. It was thought that she was trafficked and drugged, and the whole world started freaking out, more locally here in Hawaii, because here in Hawaii, we take care of our own people, right? So we become really worried. And then this eventually got into the news, internationally even, and nationally. So it became a very big spectacle, I must say. So that's pretty much like kind of how I got into it. And I think the rest of the world got into it that way too, because it was just such a mysterious case with so many open endings, rabbit holes, that, it really intrigued a lot of people to really want to research and genuinely help the family as much as they could.
Yeah. But thanks for what you're doing on your channel, man. You give me a lot of information. Messed up my brain many times, but they give me clarity too. For the people that are new to the case, I know many people, you guys are not new, but just in case, or you guys maybe been following the case and you guys don't even know where to go. So like Jess mentioned, Hannah Kobayashi was traveling from Hawaii to New York. She did a stop here in LAX, and she ended up missing her flight, so to speak, right? Because
Right.
they were saying that she ran, and there was a lot of speculations that she missed it. But what is one thing that on your side people ask you the most, or it's kind of like besides the text?
Like
Something was left
before
out. Yeah.
before what people are asking, or like what are they asking now? Because
Uh,
there's so many variations of
geez.
so this whole story has been such a huge roller coaster. I feel like a lot of us here, especially people that follow me on TikTok that I've actually created great relationships with, you know, we all have been through such a huge roller coaster ride in this whole entire case. I feel like we've literally given every ounce of our being to this case. And so, you know, I mean, what questions were asked before? What questions were a lot of questions were asked before because there was no answers. You know, so you're having people wonder like, why did she send those crazy text messages? A big part of it also was, what are those sketchy Venmo payments? You know, why would she have just dropped off from LA and disappeared and didn't go to New York if it was her dream bucket list destination? You know, why did she skip out on such a paid gig that she had been working so long and so hard for? I mean, there were so many questions in the beginning, and I think that's what intrigued a lot of us to be like, why would she just do that? You know, it just kind of, the plot twisted every step of the way. Something new came out every step of the way as we were following the story. So I mean, I'm gonna say like there's questions throughout this whole thing, you know, and I laugh at that because literally every single time we're trying to research on one little thing, you end up in a huge rabbit hole of more questions. So I'm gonna have to say in general, there were a ton of questions every step of the way. So
My question from the beginning, when they were announcing or giving the interviews and everything, I was very confused. Is when they were saying that if you see her, do not approach her. You know, to me that right.
correct.
I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, it kind of made me think like there's something's
Yeah.
not right. They said she's not doing well. We seen her in a video, and there was it was horrible. There was needles all over the place, something like that. I'm paraphrasing, and
Yeah.
I have one of the videos actually. I have one of the videos that
Yeah.
I'm gonna play where you know the aunt she's saying that she saw the video, which for what I hear, I'll go first.
Yeah, so originally, you know, before, you know, there was no CCTV footage in the beginning of this whole case. And then soon, when they later discovered that Hannah was on the metro station and they followed her steps per se, first it was discussed that she was at Avalon Station, but she wasn't. She was at Pico Station, right? And then so finally, there's this surveillance footage of her being with an identified male on the metro. It's a huge controversial issue now that we are discovering from different statements from Hannah's Aunt Laurie, because originally, as you guys know, you know, Aunt Laurie had mentioned that she had seen the footage. There's been multiple articles that published where she originally said that she had seen the footage of the male on the metro, and she was kind of giving off the vibes like Hannah was in possible danger. She looked unwell. It was alarming, you know. And then later on down in the investigation and down throughout and later on in the case, then she tries to say and pulls that and tries to retract that and say, no, I never saw the metro footage. So that is a huge contradicting issue that a lot of people felt really misled from, because you create this whole hype and this whole scene, an intense scene about how dark LA is and how crazy with, you know, being on Skid Row. And I'm not saying Skid Row is safe by all means, but I'm just saying, you know, in the article, how she's saying my husband's phone was ripped out of my hand and people are yelling and people are, you know, doing crack everywhere, you know. So it's just creating this whole
Yeah,
scenario that LA is so dangerous, you know. And it just really just was super misleading, you know, from the get go. So there's a lot of holes in the story, you know, and in one of my TikTok videos, I kind of explain and I break down the contradicting statements, you know, that have been placed, you know. So we're kind of geared up towards like Hannah's being trafficked, Hannah's being drugged, you know, we're such a tight-knit close family, like this would never happen, you know, she's never like this, she never runs away, you know, that kind of thing.
mm,
So you're creating you're creating the hysteria, you're building up the drama, right, per se, to
yeah,
the public to create this huge massive awareness and like hysteria and craziness and chaos for people to now be on the ground searching in LA in completely dangerous areas, people that don't even know this girl, supporting the family on foot, around homeless shelters like yourself, going
Yeah.
up and down the train station. Avalon is not a safe area. And then Pico Station, you're in downtown LA,
Yeah.
it's super late by yourself is not the safest situation either. So there's a lot of there's a lot of intensity, I'm gonna have to say,
Yeah.
leading up to like what's happening. It's almost like we went to this climax of this whole thing and then we were like left without anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, one thing I was thinking, because I was thinking like whose story is this, and from who's telling it? You know what I mean? Who told the whole narrative? And it was the aunt. You know what I mean? To me, that's who did it, and to me, that's why I feel kind of
Well,
like,
and remember though, so as you guys remember in the very beginning, Aunt Larry is the one who was showing up on media 90% of the time. I think Sydney showed up for a few interviews on the Hawaii side of things, right? So she was showing on the Hawaii news stations because she's local here. And then you have Larry on all of the other stations on the mainland, like nationwide, right? So you see Larry most of the time representing on behalf of the family. So she is the one that's kind of creating this narrative per se, as you stated, and this whole entire case. So in the very beginning, you guys remember that Larry was actually the spokesperson on behalf of the family before the whole entire split, right? So
yeah.
it's really coming out of her mouth. We're not unsure if the family had agreed for her to say these things to media or not, but it came from her, it derived from her originally.
I was trying to make a connection between the 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 spiritual awakening, right? The text message. Do you remember that text
Yeah, like
message?
I just gone through a spiritual awakening. I've been, like something about like what did she say? She was just saying all these crazy things like
Yeah.
I've been my identity's been stolen, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So and you mentioned something that made me think. Uh, maybe she was using all these apps, and maybe she was on some stuff, and maybe she got crossed. You know what I mean? That made me think a
Yeah,
lot. I'm
so
like,
that is one of the theories that I can only really think of, like, to this day, because do you guys remember when the police had reported and said that they were gonna look into those 2 Venmo transactions? Remember the police said that they were gonna look into those transactions, but they never reported whatever happened to that. You know what I'm saying? So what my theory is, and I could totally 1,000% be wrong, but now that the facts are laid out of exactly how Hannah is, what she's like, what she's into, there's been several reports with her. And, like, obviously not to put her down. I mean, it could be a
yeah,
very serious issue. Um, and we shouldn't, like, judge her for this. But what if she really does have a drug problem or a substance abuse problem? Like, what if that is an issue? As her ex-boyfriend had mentioned in the article, to the coworker,
I
he
remember
was
that. Yeah.
told like that she had a substance abuse problem, and that what's attributed to them breaking up. So it could have been, and this is my theory, so nobody has to agree or anything like that. But
Yeah.
my theory is that those 2 Venmo transactions, being as shady they were, I feel like it was a cover up for her getting the substances that she needed. I
Mm,
mean, you have to think about it. She missed her flight on the 8th. Something definitely went down on the plane. She hid
yeah.
in the bathroom for 6 hours. Okay. And then
Oh,
you
that's
see
what they
these
said.
2
Oh, inside the flight. That
inside
was
of
the
Lex. Yeah, she hid in the bathroom for 6 hours. Okay. So think about someone who has, and I'm not saying that she has a substance abuse issue, but she uses substances. Obviously, it's been mentioned,
yeah.
okay, out in the open already about it. And
Yeah, it's
so
been
whether or
articles.
not she was like addicted or not, I can't speak to that. But if you think about someone who's going through an issue, a trauma with this whole situation, she's getting off the plane, she feels flustered, she feels stressed out, she's anxious. My perception is that after she waited in the bathroom for so long, she was out and about in LA doing things. You know what I mean? Do we see those 2 Venmo transactions? I think it's a cover up for, getting some substances, being in LA. She found a connection somehow. That is my theory, because why else are you hanging out with the guy? Okay, I get it. You're friends, you make
Mhm.
friends, whatever. You don't know what you're doing for the next day or so, or you're waiting for your bags. because she had to make a request for her bags at least a day or two prior. So she's like, okay, I'm frustrated, I'm stressed out, I'm gonna go get some stuff. Let's call it
So you
candy. Okay.
think she made the request about the luggage before she flew, or like it was already like planned on her
No,
side?
so I think when she landed in LAX and she realized that she missed her standby flight and she missed it. That's when she requested her bags back, because I believe in the airport it takes about a day or two turnaround for them to at least, transport
Yeah,
your bags back into the airport. So it's not like she would have gotten her bags the same day. Does that make sense? Because
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it, it's like 10 p.m. when she lands. She's not gonna go. She's waiting in the bathroom for 6 hours. Her bag's already long gone. You can't disrupt the connection of your bags right then and there. You have to wait till they get to their destination, and then
Yeah.
you request from the airline for the bags to come back. So that is going to be at least a day or two turnaround. So which is the timing of it all, right? So 8th, she lands at the 8th on the 8th, very late at night. So 9th, 10th, give it 2 days. She gets her bags finally on the 11th, right? So I
That
think, I mean, think
11th was
about it.
the Monday. 11th was the Monday, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when she got her bags. So think about it. So she's out at this train station super late at night, spending the night with some random dude that she met that's helping
Yeah,
her or whatever. It could have been her connection to get candy, and if
yeah.
you're on stuff, you're out at the middle of the late at night, sleeping at a train station. It just seems like you just don't know what's going on. I mean, as a 30-year-old woman, as she has been described as well traveled, you typically don't do that kind of stuff. That is
Yeah,
not
you
typical.
don't know. There's yeah,
So I feel like, she was kind of out and about with this dude, just like being high and like doing whatever,
yeah.
um, and just getting over like whatever she was going through. And that is why on the 11th, we see all of those strange freaking texts, because she's high on
She's
something, you know?
yeah, she says about the a spiritual awakening. And
Yeah,
that's
and
what
then and I was telling people is that if you're doing too much stuff, you're sometimes people get paranoid as a side effect of doing too many substances or too much substance. That could be a side effect, and her being paranoid, saying, "Oh, my identity is stolen," but I have my ID and passport. Like she's not thinking clearly, So she's definitely, I feel like, on a different level than a sober person, if that makes sense.
she was tripping, you know what I mean? And whatever she was going through plus that, and then being in an area or city where she didn't know nobody. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, like I mentioned to you earlier, San Diego, in a way, it's it's similar to LA in a way. I don't want San Diego people to get pissed off, or LA people. No, we're not. But there's a lot of cool people, you know what I mean, that you meet randomly at concerts, places, day parties, parks, and they welcome you. West LA, Santa Monica, Culver City. We got a lot of hipster people, you know what I mean? That they're cool, that they're like into the spiritual stuff,
Sure.
DJ, beach parties. They welcome you back to their house, you know what I mean? Keep on partying cool.
But I just feel that if she had an intention to go to New York, she wouldn't have put herself out so far, at least as far as the Grove. It's 40 minutes away from LAX. Why are you going to go wait for a standby flight for 2 days all the way at Grove twice? She had to have been staying around that area or just lollygagging out and about with this dude, just high on life, doing whatever she wanted to do, Matrix style. I heard from a few sources, from a few people, that in that underground scene, of like kind of like the vibe she's in, that matrix style also not only means like undercover, but it also means like taking a bunch of substances and just doing whatever, going with the flow, if
Yeah,
that makes
kind of
sense.
like probably like it looks like that she's like into like psytrance and like the psychedelic kind of type of vibe.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, totally.
There's a lot. I don't want to burn the spots, here in LA, but there's a lot of events that happen, 3-day events,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
in the forest and all that. That's another thing I was going to ask you about. What do you think, but Matrix style, from your point of view? Because you said
I
that,
think in the I think it depends on the context of how it's used. I think like when she said matrix style in that text message on November 11th, sorry, is that because she says I have a safe passage like right after, matrix style. I have a safe passage. Love you. Call you soon for the love of or for the good of all. Love you. That kind of thing. I think in that context, she meant like she was going undercover, you know, and like she had a way to get somewhere where she needed to be. Just make sure nobody worries about me because I am going off grid. I truly think that's what that means.
Make sure people know,
Did it?
you know what I mean?
Okay. Sorry,
That
I didn't
was
know. Okay.
oh, do you want me to go back on the message?
No,
Or?
no, no. I thought it. I'm sorry. I thought it was probably buffering on my side. Maybe it
Okay.
was my.
Yeah, so I saw that message that's from the other app, Signal, I think you mentioned that it's called, and where she says, I'm gonna go Matrix undercover Matrix style, just tell people so they don't worry. Um who when did they post that screenshot? I don't remember seeing that.
That was actually, I believe that I think that was grabbed off of like some news source, but I think it was also circulating, you know, through TikTok too as well. So
Yeah.
someone must have grabbed it off some type of media or so some news source at that time. Because there are a lot of text message screenshots. I think when all these screenshots of the text messages came out, no like LAPD or anybody, they didn't really identify which text messages were from who.
Yeah.
And that could have probably been kept for privacy or proprietary reasons.
Yeah.
Um, but then we later on discovered, like, you know, some of the text messages we can see who it is from, but some of these, like these signal ones, are a little bit more cryptic and figuring out who they were sent to.
Yeah. I have some questions right here. Destiny G, shout out to her. She says, "Why do you think her mom was so quiet from the beginning?"
Oh, Destiny. Hi, Destiny. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, so her mom was quiet from the beginning because I believe that she knew exactly who Alan was. I had addressed this in one of my videos on TikTok. Is that
Alan is the ex-boyfriend, right?
um, not her ex-boyfriend? Her ex-boyfriend is a Moon. Alan is the
Oh,
guy that she was intended to do the green card scheme with.
the husband. Uh-huh.
Mhm. So what my why I think the mom was, her name is Brandy, by the way. Why I think she was so quiet from the beginning is because she knew about the whole green card scheme. If you guys remember, Lurie had mentioned in the news that Brandy had the itinerary from Hannah, had a picture of it, right? So on this picture, it was released. The itinerary photos were released to several news sources, news outlets. No matter where you were watching from, I think they were like kind of given out here and there. So we saw the first page and the third page of the itinerary. Then later on, the second page comes out. So if you're looking at the itinerary, okay, and this itinerary was released very early on. So when you're looking at it, and you have to do this kind of like investigative work, okay? So this is everybody here that's contributing to this, is that we're taking screenshots of all of these text messages and screenshots of the news videos and news clips of these, so we can dive in and see what exactly is going on. So when you take a screenshot of the itinerary and you look down at it, you basically see Alan's name all over it. Okay. You see photos with Alan here at MoMA, like, you know, at the park, wherever it is. And then, you know, several of my videos too. And we're just like, who is Alan? And why is Alan's name never brought up from the beginning? You know, why? And, you know, why did the mom say, you know, the ex-boyfriend is cooperating? Right. Because later on, we find out that you know, early on, we find out that Moon was on that flight with Hannah, and they
Yeah.
were ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. So the reason I think mom was so quiet, because she knew too much. And if she was to
Mm.
out the ex-boyfriend, then Alan would have been outed, because then you figure out why they both are on this flight is because of the green card scheme. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I think she knew. And I think it's a cover up for, and that's why she didn't participate in any interviews. Sydney was the main person. She was just kind of, I think she was in one interview I saw, but she wasn't saying much. She was just next to Sydney, and Sydney was doing majority of the talking, you know? And so and Destiny is correct right here. And, you know, it's a red flag, you know, especially if you see some guy's name on your child's itinerary taking photos with,
Oh,
and you have no idea who Alan is. Wouldn't you confront your daughter who Alan is? You know, and why are you going on this trip with Alan? I thought this was for a paid gig, you know, as what your intentions were, and to see your Aunt Jordan. Weren't that your original intentions? And you have to think about it this way, guys. So when you're building out your itinerary for a trip, which many people do, if you're with a significant other or someone that you're going on this trip with, do you ask yourself this? Do you write out in your itinerary, take photos with my significant other? or take photos with this friend. No, you don't, because it's already known that you're going to take photos, right?
What was
It's
that
already,
all about though? Why do you think she did that? Like,
why do I think that she wrote it out?
yeah, like it
Because
sent a note to
it's a list of things to do that she needed to do, like a
okay.
task that she needed to do. So typically we write out tasks and things to
Yeah,
do. But if you're going to a destination that you've never been and you're just gonna go visit and travel, like
yeah,
I'm not gonna go and write on the itinerary, take photos with boyfriend, take photos with boyfriend, because that's
yeah, yeah,
already known that you do that, you know? So it just seems like really, contradicting to the fact that like Brandy didn't know about this Alan guy. She definitely did, because she would have confronted Hannah about it at the time she got the itinerary, and it would have already been revealed in the news who this guy was. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's why I feel like she's been so quiet, because she knew more than than was revealed, and they didn't want her to talk too, because she might accidentally reveal too much. And so yeah, so that's why I think that strongly, and you guys, it's revealed later on, okay, now we're moving forward,
mhm,
and it's revealed that Brandy goes to Hannah's house, right? Finds these official immigration documents and immediately turns it over to officials, right? You remember that?
yeah, yeah,
So, first of all, Hannah is a grown adult. Your parent as a grown adult can't just bombard in your place, no matter who you are
yeah,
to them. They can't unless they have permission from you. So did Brandy get permission to go into Hannah's place? No, she was missing. She wasn't talking to anybody. And so even if she went into her place and she got those documents, first of all, what is the likelihood of her getting let in from the landlord or the roommate, finding those specific documents and turning it over into officials the next day? And I strongly feel is a huge cover up to the public, so that the air is off of her back, the blame is off of her back. So it's like, oh, Brandy just found out when she found these immigration documents. No, she knew when she saw Alan's name, because
yeah,
otherwise she would have questioned who Alan was from the very beginning. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
No, and I mean, here on the channel, I think we're up to we call it the Hannah X Files. We're like up to season 6, because we keep on saying this keeps going, it keeps going. When you heard the news that she was married and she was actually traveling with the ex-boyfriend, the husband, and the husband's girlfriend, what came to your mind? Did it blow your mind? Were you like, "What the hell?" Or kinda like you
Well,
already kinda knew from your side?
so all of us that are doing a lot of research, we're doing a lot of research on this case. We look in Reddit, we look everywhere. Steve Fisher has been a huge contribution to this case. He literally led this case with all of the facts that he found, and he has been spot on with everything that he mentioned in all of his posts, all of his findings, and majority, like all of this credit really was led by him. And so it attributed to him too, because a lot of the public, like, so we a lot of the people that were researching were kind of seeing in Reddit that Hannah was married and all of this stuff, but I never wanted to put that out there, because I don't like to divulge and talk about Reddit stuff, because
Yeah.
it's just very like not always factual, and it's not news source, it's not credible. So I tend to like to report things that are news based, and credible, right? So there was a lot of talk about the marriage actually quite early on, but people doubted it. People didn't know what to believe. Like, how do you know?
Yeah.
You just heard from someone just to hear from someone. You can't really source them. Yeah. So Steve Fisher actually is one of the main guy that like actually bluntly said it out on one of his tweets. So from there, everything blew up, and people blew up and was like, "What? She's married?" And like had supposedly gotten married a few weeks before she left
2
for
weeks, right?
mhm,
2
yeah,
weeks. And speaking of, SF Investigate, shout out to him. He actually they went against him for a bit there because they were telling him to lay off the family, back off, and whatever.
yeah.
Um, why do you think the aunt told him to back off? I mean, you already know you're like advanced, right? I'm asking questions
Well,
for the
she
people here in
told
the chat.
she told Steve straight up that she wanted to control the narrative. We all
Um,
know that she wanted now. I really, and I honestly have like the biggest heart for the aunt, you know, especially in the very, very beginning. I was talking to her, we had a positive relationship together, you know, and I genuinely, along with all of you guys, thousands of you, everybody that were like on her side to find Hannah and make sure that she was safe, because we were so scared for Hannah, you know, initially thinking that she was drugged and trafficked, you
Yeah.
know. And so with Auntie Laurie, you know, all love to her, but you know, like I tell people, like when we're doing a case and we're investigating a case and we've been so invested, you know, we feel we've been emotionally invested. We're mentally invested in all of this physically because we get so tired from it. But like I was just saying on my live before, and I was like, you guys, we have to just leave our emotions out the door when we're investigating. Because
Yeah.
even though you talk to the family members, even though you feel like you get to know them through social media, you don't. What is in social media is just for social media. You don't know
Yeah.
what goes on behind closed doors. So when we're actually looking at the case, we're looking at facts. And you know, like I said, all love to Auntie Laurie, but facts are facts. And I'm sorry if I'm gonna have to call her out on things that were contradicting, but I had to show her, or not her, I'm sure she watched it, by the way. But I had to show the public why people felt so misled, why people didn't trust certain people in the family, you know, and facts are facts at the end of the day. So we have to leave our emotions at the door, you know. So, and especially that goes on for any missing case. It's just like, you know, watching your favorite TV show. I mean, and being a fan of a celebrity, like you feel like you get to know them through social media. You feel like you have a relationship
True.
with them, just like your favorite on-air radio hosts. Like you feel listen to them every day. You feel like you know them. You get to know them, even though you've never met them in person, but maybe you've talked to them a few times. But it doesn't mean that you're like friends, you know, in real life with them, you know. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I think from the very get-go, you know, Laurie definitely you know, really spun the narrative her way to create the scene and the hype for all of this. And you know what? I'm gonna give her a little bit of benefit of the doubt here. If you get to talk to Auntie Laurie, she's very passionate. Okay, she's a very passionate, high energy type lady. Okay, she's very expressive. She's really good with her words. I mean, she's in social media, you know, PR, whatever, you know, her whole thing that she does.
Mhm.
She's really good with her words. She's really good at putting things together. She's good at what she does. I'm not going to take that away from her. So now you take that, her skills in that, you know, her journalism, her communication skills in that, and you put it towards something like this. She's going to be good at it. And she's going to be honestly, genuinely really good at it, you know, and making people believe what she wants them to believe.
Yeah. It's just yeah, yeah. She I don't know, man, like I don't think she's a bad person, you know, and I think she wanted to do well and everything, but um I think she could have said something better to the people other than when she said that Hannah's gonna speak on her own terms. Maybe on her side, Aunt Lori should have like gave us like a
Yeah.
little bit more, you know what I mean? Because we
Mhm.
we gave her a lot, you know,
Yeah.
sleepless nights. I mean, I remember getting off of work and thinking
Yeah. Yeah.
about the kid,
Well,
you know.
sorry, I didn't mean to stray away from your last question about Steve Fisher. Sorry, I got it kind of got into a
Oh,
tangent with that. So when I spoke to Laurie about that, I actually asked her. She said that in the beginning, you know, while they were on boots on the ground in the very beginning, when they were all there in the search in LA, it was very chaotic. It was crazy. Ryan was overwhelmed. Everybody was overwhelmed. I think Steve Fisher had shown up at LA for the search. And this is what she told me. Okay. So she says that, you know, Steve Fisher had approached Ryan at the time and, you know, probably like, you know, was trying to tell him who he was and maybe offer his services. But I'm not sure if Ryan was like, I don't think Ryan would be a mean guy like that to just be like, no, we don't want to deal with you or work with you or whatever. I think he was just so overwhelmed. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll call you like if I need you kind of thing. Because you guys have to remember this was very early on in the case when like literally she was just reported missing. So I think in the
yeah.
beginning of the case, they were relying on LAPD efforts before they went out and got money to, you know, spend money on a PI, if that makes sense. So I think they were heavily relying on LAPD to really help them with the case in the beginning. But you know, later on we see that Steve Fisher, I love Steve Fisher. He's amazing, but sometimes I feel that he can be a little harsh, but he's very blunt. I mean, and I'm sure he's obviously great at what he does because he is blunt and he's direct and he's to the point. And so he got a little offended by them not wanting his help in the beginning. So maybe he kind of like, did it for the drama,
No,
with people.
he did
But
it for he did it for the passion, just like us. Because he came back. Remember, he's like, I'm not gonna be involved, whatever. And then see, oh, I know I said I was gonna leave the case, but they had everybody messed up Matrix style, I guess,
that's
right?
but that's what makes me laugh, at him or with him, is because he had been saying that, oh, I'm stepping away from this case, it's too much, she's obviously like missing on her own. And then you see the next day he's like back in the grind again, talking about Hannah and the family, and then he pulls away and then he's back again. So I feel like he's kind of a comical character in that sense too.
Question, right? But do you think the husbands, because this is a question that people were asking me, and so I tried not to laugh in my lives, because it's a serious thing, but at the same time, back then it was more. And they asked me, do you really think Hannah was, the girlfriend was jealous of Hannah because she married the
Oh, the Alan.
Mariana, yeah, Mariana.
I mean, it was mentioned that, like, Marianne, was jealous of Hannah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have a credible source for that per se. That's just kind of like through the grapevine that people are saying. But obviously we see that something happened on the plane, right? So for Hannah to not continue on to New York. So there had to have been some tension. I feel like maybe like things got too serious for all of this. And, maybe Marianne got jealous the fact that like Hannah was going to marry Alan, her boyfriend, and like for money, like really, like $30,000, which is a lot to a lot of people. I mean, to me, it's a lot of money, but if she's taking $15,000, I mean, how long is that really going to last you? If she really took the $15,000 and then didn't pull through with the rest of the commitment, she really got away with just making $15,000. But, smart on Hannah's part, if she's really trying to scam, then how is Alan going to go back and get his $15,000 now? He can't report it to the police. What is he going to say?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, an end all be all to the scam when Hannah took the money and kind of ran with it.
Yeah, I had kind of doubts about that marriage, and the reason why is because if they really stole that money from her, or the state, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't Alan run the chances of getting deported too? I mean, he had a loose thing, right? Hannah could easily turn around and be like, you know what? Hey, either you give me my money or I'm pulling the papers out. You know what I mean? Is she gonna, if they get them married, is she gonna pull the papers now? Are they gonna get divorced?
I mean, I think like they could probably have gotten it nullified, if anything,
Mm,
with the marriage. I mean, yeah, she could have pulled out been like, oh, if you don't give me the money now, like that's maybe how she got like for the first half of the money. But I think as I was reading the UK Daily Mail article, is that she got the first half of the money originally, and then when the whole green card scheme was complete, that's when she would get the rest of the money. So yeah. So I don't know. I just think that, regardless, I don't know what Hannah's plan was intentionally with all of that. Obviously, it was to make the full $30,000, but maybe something switched in her mind last minute where she was like, screw this. I'm not going to continue the rest of this, and I want to live my own life. I don't want to be dealing with this drama, because I'm sure there was probably lots of drama. And
yeah,
Destiny, yeah, I forgot you make a good point that, she says, that Marianne was married to actually a moon herself, so they already had done that green card scam. And as far as how completed it was, I'm not sure, but I know that a moon, was married to like Marianne or had plans to marry Marianne.
yeah.
So
I mean, if they got married 2 weeks before she left, also too, that's another thing, right? It I mean, it's not enough time for him to get the papers yet, though. I don't
uh
I don't know.
you mean the green card papers?
green card papers, right?
Yeah, like it's a couple year process. It's
Couple
not
years.
easy. Yeah, I mean, it's a very intrinsic and very tedious process. So it's not like wham bam get married, we're gonna apply for this green card and it's done. No, it's very, very a long-term process. And you meet with the immigration officer, you gotta like prove that you guys are married. It was mentioned of why Hannah made this second Instagram account originally was so that she could have proof of like photos of her being with
Oh,
Alan,
okay.
because the Instagram, the immigration officer is going to ask for those things. They're going to see like they want to see photos of like you after getting married, like what you guys do, your lifestyle, things like that. So that's kind of a small, minute thing, but also you have to kind of be well off to actually commit to getting this green card.
Yeah.
Um, because it's been said that Alan's family is pretty well off.
Oh,
Obviously, for all of this, you need someone to sign off on this when you do a green card scheme,
yeah.
like someone
A
close, like a
sponsor.
relative.
Yeah, you need a sponsor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sponsor, exactly. So you need a sponsor for this. So I mean, there's multiple people that are involved if they are going to be doing this, right? So there is a way,
Yeah.
obviously, that it's getting done. We just don't know how. And we obviously, this is kind of like just breaking the surface of a possible huge green card scam ring that's going on in Maui. We
Mm,
just don't know because Hannah was approached, as the coworkers had stated in the article, they were approached by this woman, and this woman, offered the coworkers even to do this, but the coworkers
mm.
didn't want to do it for 30 grand. One of them stated in the article, like, okay, maybe if it was 300 grand, yeah, but I'm not going to do it for 30
Yeah,
grand.
you get caught, you go to jail. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're risking your freedom.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and once you're in jail, I mean, shit happens in there. You don't, especially if it's like federal. So
yeah.
yeah, oh man. Uh, I was gonna ask you something and it slipped my mind, man.
Yeah, and Amy makes a good point there too. She says, yeah, maybe she didn't realize how much work it would take to
Mm,
commit getting this green card, and have to deal with Alan for like 2, 3 years, and the ex, and like anything could happen, and like you're gonna be stuck with these people for 2 to 3 years, and if they're already having drama, she probably was like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want the 15,000. I'll be fine. I'll just take off because if I take the 15,000, who is it really going to hurt? Is it going to hurt anybody? Just Alan. I get the 15,000. He can't report me. Am I going to get reported? Probably not,
yeah,
because then he would be admitting to committing a crime.
true, very, very true. It says right here, it says, I think it sounded good for her to her, and then she realized how much work it was and how long it would take, and took off with the half and to fix it. Could it be? Well, there was a video that they said that supposedly the Mexican guy helped Hannah bury the luggage. Then we see the luggage.
Yeah, I
That
remember
luggage was,
that. Yeah, that was the whole thing. I didn't really touch on it too much in my TikToks because I didn't really have like concrete information on it. I think that originally was brought up by another TikToker. His name is Matthew Song. Supposedly, like he had talked to someone who knew,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
who
yeah.
seen Hannah, someone from Mexico who like seen Hannah, was like helping her bury her suitcase. Then we later on find out the word in Spanish does not mean bury; it just means that it was hidden, in the
Mm,
courtyard of the hotel. So yeah, so I didn't feel comfortable reporting on that because I didn't have any news sources or credible information with that. Especially, I was talking to Matthew and a few of like my followers and stuff, and I said,
mhm.
I don't know if I can trust that because for that guy to release information of photos of Hannah, but he wants money and trade, then
Yeah,
there's some
it's a
sketchy
lot of
thing going
scammers
on.
down in Mexico. Yeah,
And I was like, and no offense, like I mean, I lived in San Diego. I go to Mexico all the time. I've been to Mexico multiple times.
yeah,
But if you haven't been to Mexico, then you don't know. You know what
yeah,
I mean? I'm sure
yeah,
you've been to Mexico.
yeah.
You're in LA. So like when you go there, you are sold everything under the sky. Okay. Right when if you fly there and you go to the airport, you're sold that rental car 7,000 times. They want you to get this car and this car, and people are at you, trying to even get you a rental car right when you land. People are selling you everything
Oh
there,
yeah.
and it's a hustle, it's a grind for them. And I respect that. Like there's
They
nothing
give you a
wrong.
lot of free shots, but you what you don't know is that those shots they're mixed in with something because I woke up. I remember one day I had to call back over here to LA to get some money because I woke up with 3 pesos. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even change my dollars. They took all my money, but
Oh,
you
they
know
don't
what?
care.
They
Yeah,
don't care.
they
No,
don't care. It's
says
worth more
Southtown says Hannah will be sponsored by Activate LA Podcast. Hey, I said it. Hey, Hannah, I know Hannah is watching. I know the family's watching. Shout out to
to
y'all. I'll pay for the interview. I'll throw in $200. You know what I mean? Like, I think radio. I think it's like 300, $500, right, for an interview, right? But
Yeah, it
if
just depends on the station. Yeah.
yeah, Hannah, let's make it happen. We'll have Jess here. We know we'll make the interview happen, and you won't be judged. I'll just let you just pour your heart out.
um, yeah, so what was I saying? She has to
Uh,
be worried. What did Destiny say? I mean, I'm not judging.
Mexico.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, Mexico. Sorry, yeah. So getting back to the whole Mexico thing. So obviously, there are grinders out there, there are hustlers out there. So going back to the suitcase thing,
yeah.
if the guy's wanting $5,000 or whatever it is for trade for some photos, like I think that sounds a little sketch. I think it sounds like someone over there trying to capitalize on the situation with
I'm,
an
I'm,
American.
I'm gonna raise my hand for this one because I wanted to jump in. The reason why maybe what's his name? His last name so right? Yeah,
Matthew Song, yeah.
probably he ran with it is because man, this wait, my camera went up. Yeah, um, because dude, this whole story was so crazy. You know what I mean? It's just non-pack action, changes here, changes there. That you believe anything. You know what I mean? So when he said, "Oh, this guy in Mexico buried the luggage," I even started thinking about this theory. Okay, this is just what I thought. Okay, disclaimer. It doesn't mean it's true, but I'm like, my brain's just started going. I'm like, what about if Hannah was carrying something in the case?
That's what everybody thought.
She passed the case. It made it seem like it was going to New York, but in reality, it was going to Mexico. And what she did, she got off and she canceled, got the luggage back. Then and it was about like 10:30 at night. I'm like, Ray,
Like they
go
were
to
like she
sleep.
was a drug mule.
Yeah, I was like, what about yeah?
But see, that's the thing. That's where our minds tend to go when we don't have solutions and we don't have resolutions and we don't have the truth and we don't have the answers. So our mind is going to tend to create some type of resolution for what it is. So the whole suitcase thing was very sketchy to me. Someone wanting to give, photos of Hannah at this hotel, in trade for 5,000. I just thought that was so sketchy. So I wanted to stay away from that because I felt like it wasn't 1,000% true. It wasn't 100% true because I feel like if this person genuinely wanted to help, then he wouldn't have asked for money. He would have been like, oh my gosh, let me report this to the news that she's here. So that's just my gut feeling.
I wanted to ask this question. Shout out to Lupe Granados. Uh, okay, why run to Mexico though? Why?
I think that's typical. Like if you've ever lived in California, if you ever lived on the West Coast, I feel like when people are trying to evade the law or evade something, that's the first thought in their head is that they're not on US territory, they're not on US soil, so I'm going to run to the nearest country. Where whatever crime I committed in the US is not going to count in Mexico. But the Mexico president is he's really good. I mean, he's starting to crack down on, people that are US citizens that are running to Mexico to run away. They are cracking down on that a lot. But I think that's the first thought a lot of people think that, to go down there. But you don't know why run to Mexico. We also don't know if that was a quick change of plan for Hannah to change her plans to go to Mexico. So if you think about it, she crossed the border in November 11th, November 12th, right?
Mhm.
And literally it was a month. She was there for a month before she was discovered. And, whether her passport pinged back is when LAPD said that they would tell people, like if she crossed back, right? Then it would maybe be up for investigation of her case. But we don't know where she was for a month in Mexico, what she was doing for a month. She could have very been well all over Mexico. She could have went from Mexico to somewhere else, and not have been U.S. soil because she had her passport, right? So she could
Yeah.
have went from U.S. to South America. Who knows?
I was thinking
You
she was gonna be down in Guatemala because Guatemala they have a lot of like spiritual like events and all
Yeah,
that. A lot of people go from here to down there to have spiritual awakenings. I thought she was in Costa Rica. I was like, but then they were saying she didn't have no money. I'm like, oh, for sure, she's in Ensenada or Cabo, like surfing, because
Or yeah, Rosarito
papas
with
and
ex.
beer.
But the two locations that Steve told Larry were both in, I believe, in Rosarito, where a lot of expats are, right? Because his brother, his relative, or someone, runs those down there, or he had a connection somehow. So he knew of Hannah's location through that. But one of the biggest questions I still have in my head is that you can't just show, I feel like you just can't show up to these places and just be like, okay, check me in, I'm here. I feel like you need a reservation for these places. Especially, I think one of them is called like Los Galvitos or something like that. I feel strongly that you need a reservation. Someone that a reporter that I spoke with from LA, she told me that, she's in the same place and it was so strict. It's an Airbnb type place. You have to have a reservation. You have to have like this document printed out before you can even check in. They absolutely make it mandatory that you need this document to be in this place. They have surveillance. It's like gated, so it's very like high security. So she's also like, okay, so how did she even get in? So I really feel that, like she needed a reservation. You can't just show up somewhere unless you had already planned for this to happen. And whether
She
maybe
had to had help.
yeah, she had to have had help, and especially if she didn't have her phone and her phone was left in LA,
Yeah.
did she have a burner phone? Did she have someone that she was on the ends with? Did she have connection to Aunt Laurie who helped her book it? And it just all boggles my mind because then, Aunt Laurie says to Steve, like, I'll be in Mexico in a week. How do you know you're gonna be in Mexico in a week? How do you know that Hannah's not gonna be out of Mexico by then? Like, why are you going to wait a week when you're already in Palm Springs? You should have why aren't you going that day, or the next day to Mexico? So there's a lot of questions there. It's just like, okay, so did Laurie help her book a place? Because think about it. Remember the text message that I brought up about when Hannah spent thousands, right? Laurie said she spent thousands of money on a hotel in New York, right? Remember that she had this bucket list for, okay? And then I showed a text message that Aunt Laurie personally sent me because she was trying to prove how much she talks to Hannah, which I don't doubt that. But she sends me a text message, and in that text message, Hannah says, hey, have you heard anything back from the Brooklyn stays? This was November 2nd. And I'm sure Laurie may have some connections because, they're from New York. They're in New York. They're from New York, or Aunt Jordan is, whatever. But it's like, why are you going to ask Aunt Laurie about Brooklyn stays November 2nd, 6 days before you're about to fly out? If you're spending thousands, guys, come on, think logically. If you're going to spend thousands of dollars at a hotel, you damn well have that book. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss in here, but you know dang well that you would have had that booked very early on. Especially if Amun, now they're changing their plans. They have this plan, they were broken up. They planned this trip together originally, as they say they did, right? So wouldn't they have booked a hotel together or had that place at wherever they're staying together? But now we learn that Amun is staying with his sister, right? All of a sudden he's staying with his sister. So did they make this whole thing up that they were going on this trip together, or no? They were going on this trip together to do this whole green card thing. They weren't going together as a couple because they had already broken up, right? So I think that, she's reaching out to Laurie about Brooklyn stays because she had no place yet. Why else would you reach out to someone if you didn't have a place booked? And typically those places that are very expensive, you need a reservation in advance. Why are you going to wait? And even if she booked, like right leading up to this date, I mean, I don't think that would be likely. If New York was the bucket list trip, she had this plan, she had a whole itinerary written out. She had no hotel written on there. No hotel written on the itinerary. Do you remember that? No hotel written on. So why? So she didn't write a hotel name down because she didn't have a hotel. If she had a hotel, when she says check in on her itinerary, she would have wrote that hotel name down. I believe that.
Yeah, Southtown. I laughed. I didn't laugh at what you were saying. Southtown said P Diddy helped her, so I was kind of hold my laugh. Yeah. Uh, man, there's a lot of stuff that I want to ask, but she had to know somebody, and I'm gonna tell you this much. I've been to Mexico, not only like Mexico, my parents are Mexican, and I've been down to the south of Mexico, not middle and all that. And
Mhm.
me myself, I speak the language, I speak, the slang, the way they speak
Yeah.
it, over there and everything. And I would not, I wouldn't go to Mexico just like that with no nothing. You know what I mean? I
Nobody
had
that
to know
speaks
somebody.
the language, like at least if unless and she doesn't know the Spanish language at all, really. So
Yeah,
unless she like went around with Google Translator or like some app and was like trying to translate, but even that, like, you know, it's a cultural thing. And correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, like you're
mhm,
Mexican, so you correct me. But I feel like if you know the language, they're gonna be more comfortable in helping you. If
yeah,
you
with
don't know
the
the
learning.
language, you're looked as a complete foreigner, and they're gonna be able to take advantage of you,
Oh, they're gonna be
right?
like, "Oh, wait, I can, that's a nice little watch right there, you know?
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
that's a nice little suitcase right there."
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I even messaged Loree when when she was heading down to Mexico, right? I was like, make sure you take someone that can speak the language at least, or an official, a Mexico official that can help you guide your way to there safely. You have a huge RV going into Mexico. You know what
Dude,
I mean?
that's calling attention, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, you take that RV over there, you come back if you're lucky with the steering wheel, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely. Unless she parked at the border and rented a car there or walked across herself.
Yeah. There's a little bus you can take, from there, San Isidro, and, I used
Yeah.
to take it back in the days, when I was a teenager, and, they drop you off at the station in, Revolution, and then from there, you can take another
Gosh,
one.
Revolution Avenue.
Where's my
Club
sound?
Animale. I remember Club Animale in TJ.
Yeah, don't go over there now, it's not
Don't
good.
go over there. You do not want to experience that.
Yeah,
See, that's what I was also telling, my friends and people on TikTok too. Like I used to go to TJ as a dumb college kid because you could drink, and if you were
yeah.
underage. And like me and my girlfriends would go and we would park at the border and cross,
Oh,
over
yeah, you know what's up, yeah.
would walk across and then we would take a cab, over to Revolution Avenue, just as girls. So dumb, right? So dumb and
Yeah,
naive. But we would party like all night and come back at like 3, 4 in the morning. And
yeah,
I'm realizing like later on in life, I'm like, wow, we were such idiots.
yeah.
And it's not safe at all. It's not.
Not yeah, but those people there, they kinda take care of the tourists. They know who's a college
Yeah.
student. They know, you know what I
Well, I think
mean?
it's a lot better now. Like when I went there, it was probably over like 20 years ago. So,
Oh, okay. Good times,
yeah.
those good times.
Yeah.
Uh, so let me see right here. Oh, I was gonna say the reason too why people are mad, like at Aunt Lori or just the whole thing is because you mentioned this actually. I'm reading my notes right here. That they kept changing the story and all. And I'm gonna say one of my favorite quotes. Well, behave woman rarely make history. She likes the quotes. She loves those quotes. She loves those subliminal messages. And I don't know if you noticed on the last on one of the last posts she made on Instagram, she edited the whole post. Why do you think she keeps on like editing those posts?
Because she's seeing everybody's comments. She's seeing everybody talk about it. She's getting backlash for it. And so she's like, and people are putting her in check. People are putting her in place. So I feel like she's like, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So maybe I should just revise it and then revise it again where it has absolutely to do with nothing about the situation that I'm in, you know?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want any more heat for it. So as you guys can see, she's only responding. She's only responding to people who want to collaborate with her
Mhm.
on a Spotify playlist. I mean, look at that. Like, it's just, are you serious right now? Like, is that a priority right now? So it's just like it just pisses people off. To be honest, it really pisses people off to the core because it feels like people, it honestly feels like she's ignoring everybody when we were all giving her attention for a very long time. We had her at the top of the pedestal. We were looking for her. We were worried about her. We cared about her. And then now we're trying to be like, okay, we put the attention on you. Okay, where's your attention to the public now? You
Yeah.
know, like we want the answers from you. Like we want the truth on, what's going on. And, she if she was any type of human being, I feel like she would feel some type of guilt, you know, but maybe she's trying to figure out a way, to kind of tell her story without looking completely stupid, to be honest. Cause it's like, okay, well, if so, back up to like what I was saying, right? When I said, oh, she probably did these crazy Venmo transactions for candy, for substances. And how would she admit that to the public? Think about it. Put yourself in her shoes. Would you want to look like a completely inadequate person and say, "Oh my god," and get blamed for because let's just say my theory was true that I was high off of my mind, went to
Yeah.
Mexico, she would get the worst scrutiny ever. So if we were her, like you got to think about it. Would we admit that? Would we admit if we had a substance issue to the whole entire public? Probably not. We'd probably be so shy about it, and we want to
Yeah.
keep it secret. It's a personal thing, right? So
Or she
that's
could
why
be,
I
or
try to
she
avoid
could
it.
flip it, right? Probably she could be like that. She could use that as a I have a thing problem, for candies. I need help. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she could admit it, but she probably won't because a lot of it seems like her personality is the fact that she's very self-centered as we can see this because she hasn't addressed the public once, thanked the public once, or talk really about her father or anybody else in her family. She hasn't even said anything. She hasn't even said thank you. If she wanted to, she could have said thank you, Auntie Laurie, for looking for me. She didn't even say that. It's almost like, we're in Hannah's world, it's Hannah's world and we're just living in it. That's what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it is. And also too, I think Aunt Lori needs to give an apology, to the guy that she was accusing, the Metro guy.
Yeah,
'Cause I
absolutely.
I heard I heard some people were looking for him, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
like grew up
absolutely.
locally, I'm in LA and I'm like, if they would dude, they would have kicked this guy's ass just not only
Yeah,
because,
and I
but
think
just
that's why
because.
they kept it. That's why he wants to probably keep his identity, confidential, especially in the beginning, because he was completely, innocent. He was an innocent person that was probably just trying to help Hannah because Hannah was probably lost. She's not really familiar with LA. So he was just showing her around or showing her how to get from place to place. And, obviously it just became a whole issue at one point with the whole race thing,
Mm.
so it just is just kind of like grabbing things that makes, the general public very, triggered by it all.
That's another reason why I think Aunt Lori needs to apologize to, says, she went around showing the social media. How does she know if she didn't see the footage? Well, she said she didn't see the footage. She didn't see the footage, but in the beginning, she said that she saw, the footage. That came out in the news that she was showing the picture of the dude, the individual,
Yeah, I feel like I've read that somewhere too. Like someone was
was
saying that she
officially.
was going to like the coffee shop or something nearby and showing the photo of the guy. Or Steve Fisher had said like she was showing the social media picture of the guy, that they thought it
Yeah,
was. And, I guess looking for answers or whatever, So
yeah,
that was kind of weird and unclear to me too. Like that was just interesting on how all of that came about.
yeah. That was yeah. But I'm glad she's found. I'm glad the guy, nothing happened to him. I went to the terminal to the Union Station Greyhound, and it looks really nice. But also too, I mean, you do feel a vibe. And I was thinking before I heard the news because I went on the same day that they announced that Hannah it was confirmed that she crossed the border.
Mhm.
So a couple of hours before that, I was at the Union Station,
All
and
right.
and and some security guards, I seen them laughing, and I was like, "Oh, probably they're looking at their phones and stuff." But now I
Yeah.
know why they were laughing because they were looking I was gonna say my ass, but at myself, and probably they knew that, she was already, like, long gone in Mexico, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I was gonna approach them and ask, but I was like, you know what, it's getting late. Hopped on the freeway on the 110 freeway, and then somebody sent me a message saying, "Hey, they're about to give an announcement." I'm like, "Announcement for what?" I went online, and the news was so big that I will open my feed and videos of the cops are gonna, and I was so upset. I'm like, I'm over here,
Yeah,
you know,
and you along with hundreds of other people that were there, like totally, oh
people
gosh,
must know.
I can't even imagine all the energy that so many people put into this, like literally thousands and thousands of hours, like yourself at the bus stations, interviewing the bus drivers, people at the metro station. You have thousands of people, like, not thousands, but hundreds of people, maybe thousands, looking at CCTV footage constantly, every day, 24/7 a day, looking for Hannah, at Skid Row, at MacArthur Park, at Venice Beach, and it's overwhelming, like how many people actually like really helped. And, a lot of people, and I want to say this too, because it's almost kind of hurtful to the point where a lot of people are like telling to the people who've actually spent thousands and thousands of hours on this and worked really hard and were on the streets looking. You can't really tell people that have been very involved like this, like, hey, just move on from it. You should have just let Hannah go, or like, she left at her own will, just leave her alone. Because that's kind of an unfair statement to the people that have actually done so much research, like literally created anxiety in people where they couldn't sleep at night. Me and another TikToker, Melissa, had conversations at length about this case many, many times, many hours spent talking about it. And we're researching up at 2, 3 in the morning. I'm in Hawaii time, so I'm behind hours, and Melissa's on the East Coast, right? So she's ahead of me. So it's just like, we're back and forth talking about it. All of, followers who are in here, we're all talking about it. People are sending me links, research notes every single day. And it gets very overwhelming, like to the point where like I had no relationship with my boyfriend, and it was really sad. I mean, it was really sad because you got to think about it. So people that have not spent any hours of researching and any hours on foot, being part of the search groups or anything like that, I really feel like people who are saying that, you really don't have, a say in it on what you think about us getting over it. Because we now, people that have been very involved, do feel like we deserve some type of explanation, especially the people that have donated money, to this cause, for the search to find Hannah and make sure she's safe. So I feel like we are owed that, to the very minimum of things, and it really just breaks my heart that, like, Lori was one of the ones on the boots ground running, spending sleepless nights and hours hand in hand with all these volunteers on, the phone with me, with I'm sure 100 other people worried about Hannah, and so she knew how hard we all worked for this. She knew how hard we all looked for Hannah. So why can't Lori, how much hard, even though Hannah wasn't on the ground, obviously, but Lori knew how hard we worked. Lori knew how many hours everybody put in. So it is your responsibility now to thank the volunteers. Yeah, she did thank publicly on the news in the very beginning, but what about now after the fact that you found Hannah? It almost seems like she's spiteful towards people, and she's blocked me. She's blocked hundreds of people, I'm gonna have to say, that once supported her and that were supporting her, and
Me
that,
too.
yeah, she blocked you for no
Yeah.
reason. You never even talked to her.
I never went on TikTok. I'm like, dude, all I did was watch your live stream. Comment.
And she blocked so many people on Instagram or on TikTok, and it's just like, okay, so like, why are you now like to do us a favor back? Like, how come you're not providing us the information we need? Because why now? Because you have Hannah and you know the answers, so now you don't want to tell us the answers, so you're protecting Hannah. But what about the thousands of people that that had your back, and all of a sudden you turn your back away, against thousands of people that had your back? That's really heartbreaking, and it's upsetting. It's unfortunate the way like she's acting in this sense, and she's going probably through all, my comments, on my TikToks, and when I released that video of the, discrepancies and the misleading to the public video, she
Which
probably went,
one? What did you talk about there in that video?
That's the one where I talked about like the different things that she had said, like the family was
Oh,
close, and then no, and then like all these things come out where they're not as close, and then the guy on the metro, and all those discrepancies that
yeah,
she kind of had brought up. So she probably saw the video and was probably like, upset by it, and saw everybody who commented on there, and then deleted or blocked everybody on there. And some people were even blocked that weren't even following her.
yeah.
So it's just like obviously she was probably going in there and you know having a block party you know
The block
so
party.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean,
look at all these people, look at all these people that are blocked on here, look.
yeah, right there, yeah, it's a block party. So I opened the panel. If you guys, we got a 20 more minutes. Are you okay with 20 more minutes? Yeah. And shout out to Melissa. Yeah, I seen some of her TikToks too. Maybe
Yeah,
in the future, if she's free, we can do a live stream together and
yeah,
do another panel. Uh,
yeah,
if you can contact her, I'll send her a message.
yeah.
But
She responds really good on TikTok, I know that for sure. She'll totally respond, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, man, I was so invested in this case, still am, and like you said, here at my house, also too with my lady, I felt bad, I feel bad, and I try to like I'm every day like, hey man, you're focused on this, you know what I mean, but you need to focus over here too, you know what I mean, because it's like it doesn't matter what you try to do, like there's nothing new, and every time you get information, it's the same little information, and it's the
Yeah,
video. We saw it on video, but we can't release it. We can't talk about it. So I'm like, you need you need to stay focused over here too.
yeah. Base Dorian says because I was questioning her and Hannah, she's
Oh,
blocking anyone asking questions. Yeah, I mean she's blocking facts if you think about it at the end of the day. We all have the same questions based on the facts that we see. So we see in the news articles, for example, that she says she's seen like the footage, and then she says she doesn't see the footage, or she hasn't seen the footage. There's many things that are very contradictory to what she says then, now, and now, and continues to this day. So it's like, what is it, what it's so hard to believe something that is so contradictory consistently and frequently. And what I feel that makes it hard on the public is that I was just telling some people today, and I said, sometimes like not everybody is going to be caught up on every single detail of this case. That's fine, obviously. As much as me and a lot of people are very invested in research in every little detail, not everybody's going to be like us. I understand that. So sometimes you might hear things in some news one day, and then sometimes you might miss a few details and then hear another part of the news. Maybe you're part of the group that heard that she saw the metro footage, and then now maybe you're part of the group that didn't hear that she saw the footage. You know what I'm saying? So then it causes a huge disconnect in the public and in the community as well, because now we're internally arguing about what is right and what is wrong because both sides have been misled, if that makes sense. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Sorry. But yeah, yeah, she's missing. But if you see her, don't approach her. Yeah, that was in the very beginning. When basically portraying the fact that Hannah was in an alarmed state, and she was not well, things like that, which made the public feel like she could be with someone that's very dangerous, right? So, um, I'm gonna read through this. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, okay. And maybe he's trying to play a news clip. Um, Sorry, I'm scrolling up, guys.
Okay. Yeah, you can't hear me, huh?
No,
Can
I
you hear
couldn't hear
me?
you.
Okay. No, I was saying if you can shout out your YouTube channel because you're moving from TikTok, you're moving your videos right now.
Yeah, so if TikTok gets banned, if you guys are on YouTube, obviously you guys are. You can follow my YouTube channel. It's at Pauhana Podcast, at PAU space HANA podcast. Pauhana means basically like happy hour in Hawaii. So
Oh.
Pauhana Podcast. I don't know. There you go. Pauhana Podcast.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Make sure you guys head on over right now to or open another tab and then head on over, subscribe because she's gonna have more details and everything. So I wanted to play this video. Let me see. And because people were asking me for it, and some people were calling me a liar, but
A liar?
yeah, you know how people are. What's up with that audio? Oh, come on. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to share it in the chat. And that sucks.
Is it not? I can't hear it.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll post it with the edited version, but
Okay.
this is
What was the lie, or what was the supposed lie?
Oh, where Aunt Lori speaks and talks about says that she saw the footage. She saw the let me see. I think I can do it.
Oh, you have a clip of her saying that she saw it?
Yeah. Let me see.
Well, yeah, I mean, people were calling me out on that too. That's saying that she said she didn't see it, and that's one of the contradictions again, like that the public believes, right? So, like, first, originally, the public believes that Lori did see the footage, and then later on, if you're just catching up to this whole case, then you're gonna think that she didn't.
He wasn't alone. Her aunt Lori Pidgeon says.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, do you hear it? No. Okay, hold on. I'm using a different program today, so okay. It's the Matrix.
Matrix, I like that.
Yeah.
How fitting. She just blocked the audio too.
Huh?
Someone says
in their own investigation, the family obtained surveillance video of Hannah at the Pico Metro Station near the crypto arena last Monday evening, and Lori says it appears Hannah was with someone. They don't have the surveillance video, but the family says the LAPD is aware of their findings.
What we saw, it wasn't
normal.
So we're worried about abduction. We're worried about trafficking.
Hannah flew from Maui to LAX Friday, November 8th. This is a picture of Hannah deboarding her American Airlines flight at LAX. She was supposed to get on a connecting flight to New York City, but missed that flight.
I live in New York, and she was supposed to come visit me.
It was a trip her Aunt Jordan Montalvo says Hannah was excited about. When she missed her flight, Hannah's family says she tried to get on a standby flight to New York, but wasn't able to. She stayed at the airport Friday to Saturday and then left the airport to go sightseeing at the Grove.
She was actually,
I don't know what happened there, but okay. Yeah. They can hear it. Okay, so people can hear it. Okay, so let me play it then. All right.
Family of a woman who vanished after missing her connecting flight at LAX is desperate to find her, and tonight they're asking for your help. They filed a missing persons report with the LAPD, and police tell us they are investigating. NBC4's Darsha Phillips live near LAX with more on this for us. Darsha?
Yeah, Colleen, it has been 1 week since Hannah Kobayashi's family have heard from her. Tonight, her aunts, uncles, and her father have flown into Los Angeles from all over the country to search for the 30-year-old. And they tell me that they have reason to believe that Hannah may be in danger. Posting flyers and trying to retrace the steps of Hannah Kobayashi.
Her last known sighting was in the evening
Give me a quick second,
of Monday
okay?
the 11th. And
wanna,
she wasn't
let me
alone.
see,
Her aunt Laree Pidgeon says through their own investigation, the family obtained surveillance video of Hannah at the Pico Metro Station near the Crypto Arena last Monday evening. And Laree says it appears Hannah was with someone. They don't have the surveillance video, but the family says the LAPD is aware of their findings.
What we saw, it wasn't normal. We're worried about abduction. We're worried about trafficking.
Hannah flew from Maui to LAX Friday, November 8th. This is a picture of Hannah deboarding her American Airlines flight at LAX. She was supposed to get on a connecting flight to New York City, but missed that flight.
I live in New York, and she was supposed to come visit me.
It was a trip her aunt Jordan Montalvo says Hannah was excited about. When she missed her flight, Hannah's family says she tried to get on a standby flight to New York, but wasn't able to. She stayed at the airport Friday to Saturday and then left the airport to go sightseeing at the Grove.
She was actually, in fact, at the Grove on Saturday. She plugged her phone in. She spoke with an employee. She seemed great. He said that she was lovely.
Family believes Hannah spent the night at the airport Saturday to Sunday, and on Sunday she went back to the Grove. She was captured in the background of a picture. On Monday, her family says Hannah began sending strange text messages saying someone was trying to steal her money. They believe she was at the airport when these messages were sent. Then all contact was lost. Her phone went straight to voicemail.
She would never want us to go through this. She would absolutely give us a phone call.
The family learning that she
All
was
right.
spotted on surveillance
Sorry about
footage
that,
at
y'all.
the Pico Metro Station last Monday. That is where they posted dozens of flyers today.
So what do you
determined to
think is
find
next?
her
Should
and
I just give up
whoever
on
she
the
is
whole
with.
case, or
The more that we can get her face out there, the more we have a chance to get her back.
But Hannah, we love you. We're right here.
Now, LAPD not saying much about the case, only confirming that
couldn't
they
hear it?
are investigating. Anyone with any information on Hannah
still playing. Okay.
Kobayashi is urged to contact law enforcement. Live tonight near LAX, I'm Darsha Phillips, NBC4 News.
There we go.
I mean, I think everybody is going to choose when they decide to kind of get over and give up on this case. And I think a lot of us are holding on to it still because we've just invested so much time already into this, and we want like an end out of this. We want an end result. And I think a lot of frustration lies in the fact that like we're not hearing anything from the family to address the public about it. So I think that's why like we're still trying to fight for that, from the family at least, like, hey, we need some closure with this so all of us can freaking move on. Because, like it's hard to, when a lot of people tell a lot of us that are invested in it, it's like, just move on from it, move on, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, no, we've spent so much time in this. Like we're invested until we get our answers. We're going to fight for our answers. And if we are already fighting to look for someone and we have that heart that we care so much, then we also have that same fighting heart where we're going to care for an answer and we are expecting an answer as well, because we are responsible citizens. We are responsible humans. We are genuine people who want a genuine answer. And that's all we're asking for, at the end of the day. And it's really sad, to see that, with the father, passing away. I think that is like the most heartbreaking thing that could have come out of this, completely come out of this. And I don't, a lot of people ask me like, why do you think he did it? Why do you think he did it? And it's really hard to say, because you're not him. We're not him. We don't know what he was going through. We didn't walk his footsteps, but all I can say is that, local people here in Oahu that know him and knew of him, really thought highly of him as a great father, a great family man, a very hard worker. There's someone that commented on one of our local Hawaii Instagrams, like, I would have never imagined him doing this. I used to work on his house and I would ask him like, hey, like, what do you plan on doing with your house in the future? And, Ryan would say, I plan on passing my house down to my kids, and he was there for his kids. He was there for, I believe Sydney and Hannah, even though Hannah and Ryan had an estranged relationship. We're not sure exactly the full details on that, but I know at the end of the day, he was a loving father. And even though him being estranged, he still showed up for her at the end of the day, and he still came through. There are a lot of missing cases where if the dad is estranged, the dad doesn't even look for the kid. because they are that estranged, you know. So there's a dimension there and a dynamic there that we don't know exactly the details, but I know for a fact that if you're putting yourself out there, you know, putting yourself out there for your daughter, you know, and you're not sleeping for countless days, you're not eating right, you know, you're not thinking right, you know, and you have to think about it, that you have to think about this too, like, because he was estranged from, you know, Hannah and that side of the family, he probably didn't find out about any of this green card scam until he got there in LA. You know,
Yeah.
so think about that as a dad, finding out that your daughter is doing this whole scam thing, getting married behind your back without even knowing. Okay. Putting all that stress onto yourself on top of not eating, not sleeping, not thinking right because you're not having the energy or sleep.
Yeah.
One can only imagine how much of a toll that like seriously takes on someone, right? And so I was talking about this earlier, like, so in like, you know, our culture here, like, you know, Asian culture in general, you know, you finding out about your daughter doing this whole scam thing, you know, and maybe some scam stuff with everything. I know that Ryan, as a person, did not want to accept any money from the GoFundMe. He felt too shame to do that. You know, in our culture here, in Asian culture, you feel shame when you're gonna ask for donations and then your daughter is in a scheme. How would he feel coming back to Hawaii to face his family and face the people here and face the public here that know that he knows? You know, Hawaii is very small. It's not big. People talk constantly, and people know someone through someone. It's very a tight knit it's like a tight knit
It's that
community.
small.
Right? So having the Asian culture of feeling shame and losing face is probably what he was dealt with. Thinking of, how am I going to face my family when I get home? Knowing the fact that my daughter did all of this behind my back. And now they've got this GoFundMe raising money. When he was searching, he was spending stuff out of his pocket. He wasn't taking stuff from the GoFundMe. He is not the best technologically literate person. So with GoFundMe, you've got to create an account and all this stuff. That's why Larry was helping in the beginning, because he wasn't adaptable to know how to do that stuff. And, you know, GoFundMe wanted him to create like a specific type of account he didn't have. So it's like, and he's going through all this chaos of looking for his daughter. That was his main goal, was just to find Hannah. So it's like, I don't want to deal with all this. You know, you guys handle it. You know, I'm just trying to look for my daughter. So that's what I can speak to on Ryan's behalf. If knowing the things that I know, I feel that, like, you know, he probably felt really shame. He probably felt a bit of guilt because, you know, as a father, maybe, you know, he put a little bit of guilt on himself that I should have been around my daughter more so I could have freaking put her in check, you know, with all this stuff. And then maybe he got mad at the fact, like Brandy and, you know, them, like, you guys knew about this and you let this happen, you know? So there's a huge dynamic, you know, and that's why probably Auntie Laurie has said that's why their family has been broken for a very long time, because of all this. And we don't know the reason why, you know, Ryan was estranged from Hannah, but knowing Hannah, you know, if she has a substance abuse problem, you know, and nothing against that. I mean, people deal with that on a daily basis. Okay. It's not like we should look down at that. It's not what I'm trying to say, is that, you know, she was into this, you know, her lifestyle was very different. You know, she was living in a bungalow on someone's property. So maybe her father didn't agree with that type of lifestyle for her. You see what I'm saying? So that could be why, like, he's like, okay, well, like, I'm done, like, trying to parent you. I'm so frustrated. You're not going to listen to me, you know, and that's maybe what contributed to part of them having a broken relationship, you know. And as a father, you feel like so sad that, like, you know, your daughter is doing all of that and being the way she is and not listening, you know.
Probably this was the first time for him to see everything what was going on in Hannah's life, right? Like you said, the partying, the drugs, everything. Uh, there's the whole drama now going on, and I saw that screenshot where Ryan says that, you know what I mean, that he doesn't want to have anything to do with the money, you know, the GoFundMe, and then they transfer it to the wife and the daughters, but their Aunt Lorie's like having troubles with Sydney. What is going on there?
The whole GoFundMe thing.
Yeah.
Or you mean like when they were kind of battling like their text messages or whatever? Like, oh, she did have, you know, something to do with it. That one's a little tricky. Okay, so what I think what happened is that obviously, like Larry on TikTok is obviously saying like I have nothing to do with GoFundMe money. Go ask that side of the family what they're doing with the money. I have no idea. I have to think that's obviously truthful because as we see on GoFundMe, the beneficiary is Brandy, Yee, and Sydney. We all know that.
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly what Sydney's point was in putting that on her TikTok, saying, "Oh, you're saying, Lurie, that you didn't have anything to do with it," because she showed that Jared reached out to Ryan and Lurie. I think originally, yeah, like Ryan and Lurie, like, probably like created it because they were the first ones there in LA. Sydney came
Mhm.
later, like for like a day, right? So, and I think it just got so chaotic and like they needed funds there on the ground. It was said that the search teams needed the funds there and whoever was there could actually personally give them the funds, right? To deal with the search. So because Brandy wasn't there, I'm not sure why they made Brandy the, official person on the
Sure.
GoFundMe or the beneficiary, but Sydney was the administrator on the GoFundMe page, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's kind of confusing because it's like, well, Sydney, at the end of the day, you and your mom are pretty much the beneficiaries on this.
Yeah.
And also, if you guys remember in the very beginning, they were trying to avoid the GoFundMe because of the fees. So they were trying to ask for donations through Venmo, and so a lot of people got pissed off too is because the GoFundMe was still active, kind of like already when Hannah was known to be safe and found, right? So it was still ongoing. A lot of people are pissed because, Sydney was saying, okay, well, if you want the refund, then request it by December 18th. Like Sydney had made up this date, like a week, people had a week to request a refund, right? But, with GoFundMe, they say that you can have up to like a year to request your refund. And so with that being said, it's just like, okay, well, Sydney, like if Hannah's found, if where are the funds going to, you have to show people where these funds are going to. I know you had mentioned it in the description of where the funds might be going to, but you should probably, and I even recommended this to her when I talked to her. I was like, to get people to stop talking, make a dang Excel spreadsheet and itemize what you plan on using the money for.
Yeah.
So that way you can just clear it, cut dry to the point and just show people what the plan is. Because if you're just typing in like a little paragraph of what it's going to be used for, people are going to speculate.
Yeah.
Now the fact that your father's passed, yes, there was a second GoFundMe, with the fiance. I think that was created by the niece of Ryan and, for Ryan's funeral. And that was shut down. But then Hannah's was still open. And then Sydney had changed description that was also going to be now used towards Ryan's funeral expenses. So, yeah.
They shout out to Destiny G. I remember this. I remember this. They posted that Destiny copy pasted or the family
Mm.
information. That was I was kind of like at the same time I don't know. I it was so much things going on left and right that I was like, okay. But no, me in my case, I was for the family keeping the GoFundMe, and also to the girlfriend, like the other GoFundMe. I I understood why get a GoFundMe for her because maybe they live together. You know what I
Yeah, it was
mean?
his
Maybe
fiance. It was his fiance.
the fiance. Yeah, there you go. I'm sorry about that. So I saw it from the point of view of like maybe well now she's gonna have to live on her own. Maybe she's gonna have to move out the place or deposits. I don't know
Well,
how
yeah,
much.
sure. It's not a double income anymore.
Right.
If they're kind of living together and they're like building a future together, if they're going to get married together, it's, it's solo income now. It's like, maybe put that money towards, her, instead so that she can live
Or move
a little
out
bit
to
of an
somewhere
easier
else.
life, getting through this, right? Because you got to think about all the bills, Ryan worked. So it's like his salary counted toward that household. So you got bills, and Hawaii is very expensive, mortgage, electricity, utilities are just astronomical here. So I really strongly believe that, the GoFundMe should help Lee at the end of the day because
I,
she's the one
I
that's
was,
dealing with the loss.
yeah.
If it's going to go to anybody, right? If there are any funds left, who knows what happens? Who knows when everything was withdrawn? Who knows where it went to? We don't know, or at least like if they're not going to use it, because I feel like that Lee, knowing how Ryan is, I just don't feel that Lee would feel comfortable accepting the money from Sydney's GoFundMe, because there's just too much mojo on it now. It's just so much around that I feel like she would feel ashamed to take that money. And that she wouldn't use that money, because she feels like, oh, there's been so many talks about it. Then people are going to say that I'm the greedy one, things like that, or like I'm the one that, wanted it. So if the money isn't going to be used for anything, it honestly should be used towards other people that actually need it, that are missing, families that have, that aren't, financially well off, that could use it to find their family member. Something good needs to come out of it, right? But we don't know. We have no idea. And a lot of people are like, why this is what I didn't understand, is like, why do you have to wait for people to request a refund? Why don't you just refund everybody?
Yeah.
It's probably easier to do that through your GoFundMe rep and just be like, you know what, can you just refund everybody? Because obviously my sister, we thought she was missing, but I guess she's not. She just was in Mexico. So, but you have to think about it, because everybody that's donating is giving like anywhere from $5 to 20 to 50. And that could be a small increment to them. So they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with the trouble of having to request and put in this request, so people are just going to be like, whatever, forget it. So the likelihood of people requesting for a refund is a lot less likely, So I think she should have just refunded everything at the end of the day, after everything's said and done, at least put the money towards where it needed to go, to the search team, whatever, whatever was used for that stuff, her lawyer, whatever it was, and just use the rest for something else,
Shout out to Tiana. She said, thank you guys for doing this. Thank you to Jess, for, wanting to accepting the invitation, because, thanks to Jess, we're doing tonight's episode. I was going to live stream today, but I still wanted to give you guys, a little bit more about the story. I think they should have, besides the money, and they should have used this opportunity to raise awareness for other cases. Other missing women, that, you know what I mean? This could have been like, even Hannah could do that right now. She could be like, hey, you know what? I'm coming out. This happened.
I'm going to make something good out of this, that happened, and all the awareness that I brought to myself in my case. I'm going to bring awareness to people that are, in my position, or people that could actually need the help, right?
Yeah.
And now she's growing a platform, of people. And people sometimes are just weird, like, it's just like, they're just like, oh, I'm so inspired by you, like on her page. And it's just like, it's so weird to me. Like, there's just some weird, like, I don't know, fetish maybe people have. I don't know.
They're shooting a shot. You know what I mean? They're like, well, let me know. She might want to get lost, when she travels over here. And
and also another point is that a lot of people are like, well, can't GoFundMe just investigate in this and just like return the money? I guarantee GoFundMe will not investigate this, because you know why? GoFundMe gets a cut off of this. Remember, it's a reason for these donations. So they take funds out of this, so they're not going to fight it, because it's money for them. It's money talks at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Go where the money goes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Destiny says, just remember I requested my refund from Venmo from Sydney and Hannah, and they rejected me. Yes, because Destiny had donated originally. Oh, by the way, we missed Destiny's comment. She had the search team had Destiny go search at Planet Fitness like in the middle of the night and didn't even care about her well-being.
No, she had Destiny go search it. Shout out to Destiny.
Destiny, yes. Let us know if you actually went through with that. I think you did, though. Yeah. So, like, some people donate on Venmo, right? So, how are people getting that back? Because Destiny, I think she donated on Venmo and she requested for her money back, but she never got it back.
Didn't the Rad Movement paid for the not ceremony? I'm sorry.
Ryan? Yeah, I don't know what they paid for Ryan, but but I know that they had like, they said that they donated like some of the hotel and like 2 flights or something like that.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that they can still probably make a GoFundMe refund them because they still have a whole year. That's what I heard, that people can still.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a full year with GoFundMe.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, I mentioned in the live streams. I don't like mentioning, but I like but I have to mention that I donated. The reason why I have to mention is because I get people coming at my inbox saying that if I didn't, give no money or nothing, or didn't get involved, I shouldn't talk about it. So I guess you know what I mean. You got to bring out your receipts and show, So and this to me
Well,
was.
I make it a point too, and like at the end of the day, it's just like, if people donated to GoFundMe, like that was their choice, right? Because it's
Yeah,
their own money that they worked for. Why should we have a say on how people spend their money or put their money towards? And if those people are very like, misled and like feel deceived, then they can request the refund. That's totally fine. But we shouldn't judge other people for like donating, because a lot of people didn't know what, they really genuinely thought and tried to help the family, thinking that Hannah was truly in danger. And, the family was searching hardcore. So, oh yeah, Destiny says that she went to MacArthur Park as well.
Oh, damn.
She says yes to both places and asked Erin if she was sure we needed to go, and she said yes. So I don't know. Are you familiar with who Erin is?
I've seen her. Was she
She's got like the red hair.
A friend? Was she a
Yeah.
friend? She was a relative or something. I don't know.
No. So her name was Infinite Erin. Her name is Infinite Erin on TikTok. She originally was like posting videos about Hannah when she first went missing. She had claimed that she knew Hannah like 12 years ago. Obviously, they lost touch. They didn't keep in touch or like hang out since then. But Erin actually, I believe, was on the ground on the boots in LA, like searching. And she also was heading the Facebook search groups. So she was literally kind of very like aggressively trying to find Hannah. But it was kind of weird. Like the Facebook search groups got kind of weird. Okay. And I'm just gonna throw that out there. I know everybody worked really hard and really, really hard, but the dynamics of the Facebook search groups just got very like tyrant / like petty / just very drama to me. Speaking because I was in it, I was in the Facebook search group, and so like this reporter, Michelle McPhee, she releases an article that there has been a confirmed sighting of Hannah at Venice Beach, and confirmed CCTV footage from the V Hotel. Okay. And so I was like, what? So this was like, I was looking at this article and had been
From
published.
Los Angeles something, right? Los Angeles News or
LA Mag.
LA Mag. Yeah.
And so this article had been published for like 4 hours or something like that. So I went ahead and then like I posted this on my TikTok. Okay. And I was, telling my followers, oh my gosh, like let's look through the footage, stuff like that, because the V Hotel has a CCTV camera that's open to the public to watch. So many of my followers were so nice, and like they were like digging into this footage. We were looking hour by hour from like the 4 p.m. hour, I think, all the way at night. Dang. And so we found a clip of, from this footage. I think Amy helped me too. Amy, shout out to Amy. She was looking at this, with me, and we saw this like person like running, like jogging on the boardwalk, and it looked exactly like Michelle McPhee, because we looked at Michelle McPhee's Instagram, we looked at her body build, we looked at even down to the shoes. She was wearing like these same exact bright yellow shoes that were in this Instagram that she was wearing on the boardwalk. And then in kind of later down, when she's on the boardwalk, you hear in the background of the clip, Hannah, like she's yelling out, Hannah, Hannah, Hannah. And so then the person kind of veers off the camera, goes down to the pier, and it's just kind of weird, right? So then it's just like, okay, well, did Michelle McPhee like make up the fact that like there was confirmed sighting, or did she see who she thought was Hannah and then just put that out there, like to post that she was confirmed CCTV footage. So later on, as we figure out, obviously Hannah had already been in Mexico. So she wasn't even in Venice Beach at all, you know? So she puts out this article, you know, saying that she saw this confirmed CCTV footage. Long story short, I had posted that on my TikTok. And then I went back to the Facebook group, and then I saw someone had pointed out that I made a TikTok about the Venice Beach thing, her article. And then the Facebook group got all crazy
What the
saying,
hell?
oh, she just wants to do it for clout and attention. And I'm like,
What
no,
the?
girl, like I'm genuinely looking for her. So I'm putting out information.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And so I was like, this article came out 4 hours prior. If you were researching, then you would have seen that this article came out. And so they were just going at me, like at my throat.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, this is
That's messed up.
ridiculous. And then I was like, I'm just trying to help. I don't know what your intention is, but I'm just trying to help. So it almost felt like people were like fighting for like the trophy of finding Hannah. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
like who was the first one?
Yeah, it felt kind of like a battle. I'm like, this is crazy. And then so eventually they kicked me out of the group, along with many
Really?
other people that were looking to find Hannah. Genuinely, like Melissa was kicked out eventually. A few other people were kicked out. A lot of people were kicked out in the very early on. You know, obviously comments were being turned off, you know, on Facebook posts. So it just got really sketchy, you know, and just like really not truthful. I feel it was just very not like, how do you say it? Just basically just not, you know, transparent. You know, it just felt like the being in this group was just not transparent anymore. And I just feel like people became very petty over everything. And I'm kind of glad that I got kicked out because I did not want to deal with any of that drama. My main goal was just to research and find the data and spit the facts out. So
No, see, yeah, I noticed those groups. I mean, I was in the group, and I would just go here and there whenever I had the chance. But I noticed that they were just, whenever somebody will post something, they'll get mad, or if you didn't post or whatever. And the moment I noticed that they were deleting people and everything, I'm like, you know what, I'm just here for the information, so I'll just
yeah, a lot of people came to me in TikTok too, and they're like, "Hey, do you know why that they're not accepting my requests? Because like I'm in LA and I really want to help, but they're not even like letting me join the group." So they won't even let at some point a lot of people join the group just because people wanted to help. And I just found that that was just so strange to me, like how like you have all these people that want to help, but then like why are you denying them of helping? And the fact that these groups were private, why do you have to be private to join it? So we're screened. Every single person is screened. Why? Why do you have to screen people if they're just trying to help? You know, I get it maybe for privacy protection issues, but like if this is already public as is, why do you care if people want to help or not? I mean, like why do you care if people want to join or not? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no,
Kiala makes a good point. Yeah. If
yeah,
it didn't go with the narrative, you were out. Yep.
you're out. Yeah, there were like about 5 or 6 messages that they didn't. Well, all the messages that I posted, they didn't accept them. So I was kind of like, that was the part also too, where I was like, why am I even in this group? But at the same time, like,
Oh,
and I messaged somebody. I made a post. I think I was like, hey, you guys are not posting my videos. And I'm like, I went here, and he's like, oh, why don't you join the crew, boots on the ground? And I didn't say nothing because in my mind I was like, I'm doing this out of my own little time. Whenever I get the chance, I get
yeah.
off the freeway and you know, go here, go there. But um, then afterwards, there was other 2 groups that they opened where they were like a little bit more open minded and you know,
Yeah. Yep, exactly. I just thought it was just really like shady in the beginning, you know, and I just find it really kind of crazy how, you know, in the very beginning, especially with Aunt Marie, like we're just all trying to help her. And then now it's just so crazy to me how things that tables have turned and it's like, you know, she's blocking me who tried helping her, you know, connect her with Steve Fisher and everybody else who was helping her. And now all of a sudden you're just blocking everybody that's trying to help you. And, you know, why, like for what reason, you know? And I'm just like trying to think of things because it's like, you know, criminals, right? And I'm not comparing her to, you know, not saying she's a criminal or comparing her to a criminal by any means, but I'm just saying people run from the truth, people hide from the truth, people try to like, you know, deter themselves away from the truth by just pretending that it's not there, pretending like the issue is not there. But there's literally thousands of people that care about this case. So like, I don't know what she's expecting to do. Just, feeling like this is going to be swept under the rug. This case was about to be moved on from literally 2 weeks ago when they stopped posting anything. It wasn't until when Hannah sparked the controversy again and the speculation again when she posted on Instagram again.
Yeah.
Literally, I felt like this case would have been dismissed under the rug, you swept in the rug, hands clean, whatever. And we're all just like never going to get an answer. But it wasn't until Hannah, she could have posted whatever, but no, she posted stuff about the situation. She posted about taking the guilt for her dad. She posted about, her humanity. Where's the humanity? And she posts this such such a negative vibe to her comments about, positioning these questions on the public, like almost as if she's not taking accountability, but like she was blaming the public for doing what they did. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, girl, like you need to ask your family what they did. Like if you have a problem, you should ask your family because your family really put it out there. Like you were in such crazy danger.
Like she was
So
trafficked.
don't put these questions on us. We've asked all the questions already, so you need to answer some questions, So that was kind of like an interesting situation how she, and what really bugs me was the fact that like, do we not have any humanity anymore? I'm like, girl, the reason why we have humanity is the very reason why we were looking for you. Because none of us know who the heck you are, but yet we're out here looking for you. What do you mean we don't have humanity? Do you have humanity? Come out and say something if you have humanity. You know what I mean?
Imagine if she would have gotten lost while the fires would have. That's one thing that I was thinking, man. She would have had all kinds of people going crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. She got lost in the fires.
Like around this time.
Oh yeah.
Been crazier,
God, that would have been chaotic. That would have been super chaotic. Hopefully, maybe the fires would have told her, "Nah, you should have gone to New York."
Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, no, but man, thank you so much. We're getting close to the hour. Anything you would like to add on? I have so much stuff. I can keep on going, but
I know we literally could. I mean, this is honestly, guys, been like what she went missing. She flew in November 8th. What is it now? It's like January. I don't even know the date. 17th. Something.
It's been 3 months, almost 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy.
December.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last few things that I just want to say is like, I feel like something is bound to come up again at one point or another. We just don't know when, but we'll just kind of just have to keep an eye on it to see like what happens. One of these days, one of them is gonna just say something. I mean, they have to. They don't have to, but I feel like because they're so like social media like abled, that something is going to come out eventually. And whether or not, there's been talks, who knows? What if Hannah's selling her story to that true crime / lawyer author guy, to write her book? Like, maybe that's why she's saying time will tell, because that I reached out to Hannah, right, on her Instagram, and she wrote me back. You saw that, right? So she's like, in my time. I'm like, girl, my time is running out. So you want to click TikTok. It's going fast.
I saw the shots, mother.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just exactly, Beanie's correct. Like it's an irresponsible way she's acting. She's not taking accountability. Another point I do have to make quickly is that you got to look at the character of this person. She was expected to be back at work on November 20th. So what, she's just going to be in Mexico and not call her boss and say anything that she's coming back? So she decides to just extend her vacation for as long as she wants without notifying anybody. Because if she notified her shop workers or her boss, then her boss would have had that vital information that, no, Hannah is here and she's extending her vacation, right? So we're not calling her boss. You can just see the type of person that she is, very irresponsible and does not take accountability for any of her actions. So, and obviously, look, she was doing a green card scheme.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about her personality and her character? You know what I mean? It seems like she's just out for herself,
Yeah. Okay. So this is the question I wanted to ask you in the chat too, but Oh man, goddamn, it slipped. It slipped. But what was I gonna say? Oh man. Okay, yeah. There you go. There you go. See, I have so many questions. The main question I was gonna ask you: if you were to go missing, if I was to go missing, my friends will be all over the social media. Not like trying to get like hits. Maybe yeah, some of them. You know what I mean? Because I know some content creators just like anyone. But
Yeah.
there was no friends that stood up or were looking for her, or you heard on the media on social media. Why do you think is that? There's only one person, right?
Like,
One girl.
why did
Well,
none of her friends like come up? Because they probably didn't know what was going on. Like, they probably knew about the green card, like, as you know, like even her
oh,
coworker knew about the green card thing, but I don't think like I don't know. Maybe this is kind of like a behavior that thing that they're used to.
because
Or
they say that she's done this before, right?
maybe she just doesn't have close friends because of the way she is.
Oh,
Like when I think Lori was asking like her friends to send in videos. Remember when the kind of the
oh
reels of like
yeah. There's only two,
there's
right?
only yeah, there's only two. So you're saying you only have two friends? You lived in Oahu your whole life and Maui, like there should have been more people that came up, and been like, oh my gosh, I've known her and I graduated with her. She went to school with me. Like, I can't believe she's missing. This is so unlike her. She's not, I don't think she's close to anyone. And maybe she's used to feeling that estranged behavior. Obviously, with her dad, her mom, her sister, we can all see she's very not that close with them, and there's probably a reason why,
No
whether
fun,
it's she
no
doesn't take
fundraisers.
responsibility or accountability. And maybe that's why Sydney is hurt so much because this is like the boy who cried wolf type thing. Just this thing happens over and over. And if she does have a drug substance abuse problem, maybe she, is trying to work through that. But obviously, when someone goes through that, it does distance family, because family's
Mm,
trying to help so much. And it's like they love her, they care for her. But like maybe she's like, okay, I'll get clean, I'll get clean, I'll get clean. And then she doesn't, and she falls back into her traps again and her ways again. So that could be also a possibility too.
yeah.
She probably has like party friends and like her dancing friends, but like, are you really like gonna be tight with someone who you go and do candy and substances with?
Yeah.
Only, on a personal, real sober level, or are you just gonna hang out with them and think that they're your friend during those kind of times? And then, but how are you gonna connect with that person if you're not connecting with them on a sober level, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, man, if she's going through that, I hope she does get help and look out for help.
hope she
Addiction.
doesn't. I mean, I pray to God that she isn't, and I'm just,
Yeah.
assuming the worst here, but and nothing because I know it's a very long process and it's very hard when people are going through that and it puts a toll on the families. And I really hope she's not going through that, but I'm saying if she does, I hope she really does get the help she needs because she is 30 years old and you have time to change your life and turn your life around at this point, you
Yeah.
know.
And
But yeah.
disclaimer: this is just our opinions, what we think. We're just sharing thoughts over here. Hannah, if you're open, I'll welcome you to an interview. And if it's not
Yeah,
me,
I mean,
just go out
and
go ahead.
yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, and the last thing I want to say though is that like the most amazing and positive thing that came out of this whole entire fiasco, this whole entire charade, whatever you call it, I just want to like shout out to like everybody who's really tuned in to this case, really everybody who's followed me on this case. I've met some amazing, amazing people on the TikTok app, and I've never thought in a million years, I never thought my stuff would blow up in a million years because I'm just like some DJ in Hawaii, and I'm just kind of like new to this, like, TikTok and like posting stuff and being kind of a content creator. But I just want to, I'm just so amazed and overwhelmed by the love that this community has, because I want to say that this community has to be one of the best communities to be with, because you already know that their heart is great because they're looking for people who are missing, who they don't even know. You have people that are tirelessly working to look for someone that they don't even know. And I think what it comes down to is obviously the kindness of their hearts, the caring of their hearts, the validity of how generous they are. So this is such a great community to be around. And I appreciate everyone. And I'm so grateful to be in this community because this is how you're going to be a leader at the end of the day, is having that type of heart. And all these people that follow me, Destiny, Amy, Melissa, all of these people, that are involved, and the list goes on. I could shout everybody out, but the list goes on. Like, they are such dedicated people that, that they are leaders in a community. They have the leadership skills, in this community, because they have such a kindness in their heart. And that's how you win battles in life and in everything. I feel like in conflict is just sharing kindness with one another, no matter what background, no matter anything that you go through in life, is that, as long as you have kindness at the end of the day and you share that kindness, and that's what's very important here in Hawaii. As long as you share the aloha, share kindness with one another, then that is how you become successful in life, and that's how you generally maintain your happiness. So, I mean, I want to thank every single person on here that has dedicated their time, put in hours of work with articles, sending me things, waking me up at 3 in the morning with stuff. Like, I just can't imagine. I'm just so thankful and grateful for everybody. So I just wanted to shout, and you too, now, getting to know you as well.
Thank you. Shout out to you. No, I mean, the reason why you got that following, people, tune into your channel, is because you break it down, you put it down, and you're not like on one side or the other, you're in between. And then when it's time to call it out, you call it out, the way it is. You question, and you do it also too in a very respectful way, but also too, you don't let it slip or slide by,
Right.
and people
It's
want
gotta
that.
be, it's got to be approached with a logical and reasoning way, a reasonable way. You can't approach a case being an emotional head case and very drama about it. Like, you have to approach it in a very logical manner, and that's difficult to do because we feel like we love these people, because we've spent time with them, we spent time knowing these people, and it's hard to separate emotions with logic and reasoning sometimes. But with missing persons cases, with getting to try to get to know people that are involved in this case, you really have to kind of take a step back and just say, look, like, they aren't our friends. Remember that. And I told people the other day on my live, I was like, you guys have to remember that these are not our friends. Okay. These are people that we were trying to help. So you cannot go into this thinking that you're their friend and that you have to defend them. You don't have to. That's not your obligation to defend anybody on this TikTok, on this chat. We are just laying out the facts. Sometimes the facts hurt. And sometimes these people, we have expectations of these people. Just like for me, I love Aunt Loree. I thought she was a great human. But, when we lay out the facts, you have to separate that. It just sucks because sometimes you think that these people have, you're expecting these people to do certain things, and you set yourself up for success, you feel like, but then they fail you. So you can't assume that they're going to be who they are at the end of the day. We always have to look at it with a very keen eye and make sure that we have all the facts laid out to make our actual judgment and the right decision.
Yeah. No, you got to question everything. And thanks to that, I mean, we found out the truth. If you wanted to talk, if SF Investigates wouldn't have came back and be like, okay, I'm back. She's here, she's there. Go, go look for her. Just ask me. I can't tell you. And even though they got mad, but I mean, even the LAPD, I'm thinking like they got mad because they're being accused of they're doing a horrible job, and
It's sad that they're being accused of being negligent. That is horrible. I mean, and you got to give it to LAPD. They're not there are things that they could have improved on, okay? But you also have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They have thousands and thousands of cases that they are working. Unfortunately, missing cases aren't always a top priority for them, okay? And then you have to think about the missing persons unit in LA. It is understaffed. The LAPD is understaffed. So they are working tirelessly to handle multiple things multiple times of the day. And so now with this family being pushy about this case where the police have told them time and time over and over again that she's involuntarily missing, they wouldn't take that for an answer. They kept pushing the narrative that they wanted to push, that no, she's in danger, she needs help. Oh my gosh, and Sydney's saying on the news, like, even though she's going into Mexico and we see footage of her going to Mexico, you never know who could be, dangerously looking at her from afar. So it's like the continuation of this narrative that kept just trying to drive the force. Because the longer the GoFundMe is open, I'm just going to say this, the longer the search is, the longer the GoFundMe is, the more money there's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's it at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I said it here in the live streams. I was like, okay, I'm questioning now, because they're talking about this guy that has their all drugged up. It's been like I don't know how many days. Been 2 weeks. Like, well, how much money does this guy have to waste on drugs to have Hannah on drugs walking around? You know what I mean? Now she's in
Mhm.
Mexico, so but man, I could
I
keep
She
on
did
going.
it at her own will. She went to the Grove 2 different occasions, 2 different days. She went to that Christina Ricci thing, supposedly. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, she could have been just doing whatever she wanted to do, going with the flow, like whatever. But I guarantee you, she was probably staying around. I feel like that area for her to show up back up the next day. You know, um, you know what I mean? Or that could have been a public place to like where she did those transactions, and that was the place that she was supposed to meet up those people for her candy. No.
Could have been. But we'll find out. I'm sure eventually. I mean, there's the possibilities are limitless, like they say, right? Because I mean, if she wants to, she can flip it. She can make a book, a couple of books. She can make a documentary. She can make a
Yeah,
help people. I mean, if I was Hannah,
she
what I would
could.
do,
She could, and like people are going to continue to be curious. But I just feel like with the way she left things, I don't know if people. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if people are going to try to support her in that financial way. You know,
I
like I
think
feel
they would, because there's a lot of people still that they think she's like an innocent 15-year-old that came to
needs
LA and all this
coddling.
happened.
I
Yeah,
mean, yeah. I mean, look at the way her family talks to her. Like it's like she's a child. You
yeah.
know.
She's not, and I'm not saying she's a bad person, and I'm, but
Well, if she comes out with a book, I'm not buying it. I'm just
uh,
gonna say, like, I'll scam her back, and have
yeah,
one
yeah,
person buy it and make copies of it and hand it out,
hand that out,
or
yeah.
read it on TikTok, or read it on YouTube out loud. I mean, I
The
don't know.
audiobook, the free audiobook on YouTube.
Yeah, narrated by me. I don't care.
You know what, Jess? I wouldn't be surprised if you get hit up for the documentary in the
I
future.
did.
Yeah, but people,
I
because
did.
because this is money right here. This is money.
I
This is
did
people's
get hit up.
feelings.
I did get hit up.
Really? Tell
I
me about
did
it.
get hit up by like a production company that's like trying to pitch a documentary to Netflix. They did like send me some kind of like NDA thing, but it's an unpaid gig. So
Um,
I would not get any monetary thing from it. And then also I wouldn't be able to talk in another documentary for a year. And so I told them, I was like, let me sit on this, but I don't want to be on a documentary if Hannah's not on it. So they're trying to get Hannah or whatever, and I'm like, well, if Hannah's on it, then I'll be on it, and I'll think about the whole NDA thing. But if she's on it, then come talk to me. So they're supposedly trying to like pitch it to Netflix, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this out loud. I'm new to this, so if I release some stuff, oh well, I didn't say anything yet. So
yeah. Well, they did a movie actually episode on Carly Russell on Tubi. I was surprised.
Carly Russell.
That's the young lady that she called 911, that she pulled to the side of the freeway because she saw a little baby in
Oh
a
yeah,
diaper.
yeah, yeah, the fake one, right? She faked her kidnapping or disappearing.
Yes. So they did a movie on her, a little movie episode on Tubi, the
Oh
app.
god.
So man, it's there.
So
It's there.
are these people sick-minded that they think the end goal is that they're gonna get paid because they think they're gonna get like featured on some like media thing?
Like they say, they do everything for clout,
Oh my god,
Clout's
it's
an
ridiculous.
evil drug, yeah.
They're
We
just
know the
honest
people.
people these days.
Yeah, people do crazy stuff, just for well, you remember a couple of years, people were taking video of themselves in airplanes licking the toilet, eating pots and all that stuff.
What?
You don't remember that? Yeah, that was yeah.
That's disgusting.
So
What?
sorry for the people that are at home probably eating. Say allegedly, yeah, alleged, yeah. Well, no, but they were there. There was videos of her, but of these people licking the toilets and all that.
Yeah.
See, that's the Destiny remembers.
It's gross. Yeah, I mean, and also another question, you know, people ask is like, how is Hannah surviving at this point if she's not even working?
How does she really? Yeah, that's a good
Is
question.
she living off the 15 G's? Is she's might be living off Aunt Larry? Who knows?
But how's she pulling them out? How are they being transferred to her?
Living in an RV. Maybe she
Oh,
still has some cash from Alan's stash. You know,
I have a theory, man. I have a theory that maybe this was planned. Maybe just disappearing, and she was found, and maybe she's all like, "Well, wait a minute, we can get some money." This is the theory, okay? Alleged. I'm saying it. This is my thoughts. People out there right now, Aunt Lori listening. But nah, shout out to her. I hope everything comes about, but we need an answer. We need an answer, and
we definitely need an
I'll be
answer. And
happy.
I think her actions of blocking everybody doesn't prove anything. I think her actions of blocking people just make her look more suspicious. Because if you have nothing to hide, if you're really genuinely telling the truth, then, you know, why don't you just say it? You know what I mean? And, you know, you should be. And if you're the auntie for Hannah, I would be like, Hannah, you as my niece need to get up and say something. Be the responsible mentor and adult and be like, hello, child. Address the public. I'm so sorry I got you in this mess as your auntie because I was genuinely worried about you. But you know, we owe the public a little bit of an apology because we kind of put ourselves in this situation. So we got to say something. We should say something because I would feel so bad putting the public through all the stuff that they went through to help find you. We should say something.
Yeah.
That is the least they could do. And for her not to do that and to avoid it and say, I'll tell it on my own time. No, girl, you don't tell it on your own time. That is not the correct answer. Because that's when you piss thousands of people off, is when you say you're going to say it on your own time. Because it shouldn't be on your own time, to be honest. Because you know what? It wasn't on our own time when Hannah went missing. It wasn't our own time when we sacrificed time from work to look for your niece. It wasn't on our time. We didn't ask for Hannah to be missing. We generously donated our time and our energy and our efforts. And yeah, I get it. It was our choice at the end of the day. But at the same time, like we generously did that. So you should generously kind of give back. It's not a take relationship. You know what I mean? You gotta give a little bit to take a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
No, you said something right there, and it's true. As an adult, she should be,
She should be an
role
auntie. She
model.
should
Be like, hey, you need to get your
follow
ass over
those
here
morals.
now. Yeah.
But I feel like Auntie Lori just enables her and is like, oh my gosh, child. Unless Hannah's going through some mental breakdown or whatever, like, and she needs to just do what she needs to do. But like at the end of that, like through this healing process, like part of the healing should also be talking and making a statement to the public and say, I'm generally sorry. And the first thing you're going to say about your dad is, should I feel guilty? You know what I mean? Like, are you serious? And then also like Doug Carey's like blog about Hannah, that crime author, you know, that she hired as a lawyer at the end is like, you know, at the end of his blog was so gross to me when he was like, Ryan, that was his choice at the end of the day to commit suicide or off himself. At the end of the day, Hannah had nothing to do with that. It was his choice, blah, blah. Like how he ended that whole blog was just so disgusting to me because you can't say that. How are you going to speak for her dad? You don't even know her dad.
Is
You
this
don't
like
even
a
know what he went
reporter that did this blog?
this is the attorney that met Hannah at the border. It's DougCarey.com, DougKari.com, was a lawyer and who Hannah had meet her at the border.
Yeah. That is that. Yeah. Wow. Well, we'll find out, man. We'll see what's next. Maybe they'll make a reaction video to our live stream tonight. I hope not, you know. But one thing I do hope, just give us an answer, you know.
Just prepare that everybody that's watching is going to get blocked.
Hey, you guys better go make some TikTok fake accounts. Bro, what's your stance right now? Real quick on TikTok getting banned.
I'm really sad about it, to be honest. I mean, I don't have a ton of followers, but I really feel for the people that are content creators and have made social media like their full-time job. I'm really, really heartbroken about that because I know how much time it takes to make social media content, how much it takes to research, edit, come up with ideas. It all takes so much time. And for people that had just literally this past year grew their audience to maybe like hundreds and thousands of followers to 1 million, I like my heart is so sad for them because, not only are they just like losing money, at the sense, but they're also losing the community that they built, with them, and the people that they've influenced and the people that look up to them and the people that feel like they can relate to. And it's not even just people that are like doing like makeup videos or beauty videos, but it's like, people that actually learn things from people about other cultures, about how to fix things, how to do things, news from other countries we would never have known if we watched our local news. Right. And people are like, I use TikTok for a research database. I'm like, how to do things in my house, even.
Oh, wow.
So it's just like it is a source of information too, as well. It operates as so many different things for so many different people, and it becomes like part of people's life, right? And it's part of connecting as a community. Like here, like I'm gonna be really sad if like, I'm gonna be really sad if you guys don't subscribe to my YouTube. I'm just kidding. But I'm gonna be really sad to actually just like see everyone just like go if it does happen. And like, what if people don't have YouTube? What if people don't have Instagram, and TikTok was really their only source? And TikTok is so easy to make clips and upload and just do stuff. YouTube's a little challenging for me because it's just kind of a little bit more tedious, a little bit more steps to just upload something. But it's really sad. I really hope it doesn't get banned. I hope something happens. I hope someone buys it, whether it's Trump or whoever, someone just buy it. But I think at the end of the day, we all have the ebb and flow of things. So at the end of the day, we'll all come through it. And I think we'll all find some other app that we're going to adapt to. We're going to adapt. We're people. We're adaptable. We adapt to change, right? Or hopefully we can. So we'll find another app to hopefully grow and be successful on in the future. So hopefully it's more of a positive outcome.
Yeah, well, this is Miss Jess's YouTube channel. I posted the link to. Make sure you guys head on over, subscribe. I hope they don't delete TikTok. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't a big fan of TikTok in the beginning, but little by little, I use it to go and hear what they censor in certain places or kind of compare news outlets. So I started liking it, and I feel that they give the chance freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Either maybe it's misinformation or maybe it's the truth, but I think people should be able to have the freedom, right, to express.
And it's so interesting because you get to dive into people's lives that are so different from you. Like people that are like live in like different other countries, people that live in different states even, and you're just like, wow, that's cool. Like, someone is used to like us here in Hawaii, we don't really, unless we fly to California or whatever, we don't snowboard every day like some people can. We don't go and like sled with huskies every day. That's my dream, by the way. We don't see the northern lights every day. We don't live in Alaska where we only have like 6 hours of daylight sometimes, so it's really interesting to see like how other people live, especially like, people that are like very like that are indigenous and things like that too. Like that is so interesting to me too. Like I want to learn more about their culture and like how they do things, and how Alaskan people live, and and it's a way for people to connect and really get the word out. I mean, how much has social media helped police actually help solve cases? So much. And if we don't have this type of platform, then you can say bye to all of that. And look at all the people that have small businesses that are on TikTok, that have grown ever since COVID. TikTok became a source for people to become successful because they had to stay at home, and that was their only source of income, was to think of something they could do at home, whether it's selling on TikTok or, starting content, and so it's just sad because people work so hard for all of this, and then it's just going to go kind of like almost out the window.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, something is going to come about. I'm sure they're going to buy it. I mean, I don't know. I hope not, because then after that, my only place will go be X, or go to certain blogs. But I started getting used to the just randomness, like you said, different people from different countries, giving their opinion, and the chat they're saying from the recipes. I didn't know about the recipes.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
recipes.
you have some good stuff there.
That is definitely a good one. Like food recipes and just like watching, like it's kind of almost like, how do you call it, like satisfying, right? Like
Mhm.
there's satisfying videos, right? Like when people are like cooking or like, organizing, like even videos that are organizing videos I like to watch because it's like relaxing and it's calming for me. Or it's like stock my fridge or stock my pantry, or you just see like beautiful homes that are out there that you would have never seen. So there's just so many things that are available to us and so much information that is available to us that if we don't have anymore, it's just gonna suck. Um, or did someone say not a TikTok fan? Yeah,
Not
a lot of, I mean, it was kind of hard for me to get a hang of in the beginning on how TikTok worked, but eventually it grew on me because I eventually saw it. And the more you use it, the more your algorithm is going to change based on like your preferences and like what you like, what you reshare. So
yeah.
at the beginning, I was like, oh, I didn't really like any of this stuff. And then some of the stuff here in Hawaii, I was like, okay, this is too local. like it's just like, like you see the same people over and over.
Yeah.
And then it's like a joke though, like right now on TikTok, it's like my FYP is getting too local. So like when we see someone from Hawaii or someone that we might know, or like someone's gonna be like, this is getting too local, So and I just wish that I just hope that it doesn't get banned when it's what is it supposed to get banned in like 2 days?
Sunday, yeah. Well, man, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If you can reach out to also to make the part 2 of this, Melissa, make it happen. Let me know when's a good time for you guys,
Yeah,
and
sure.
hopefully TikTok. I mean, it's still here because I like it. I like it, but
I do too.
yeah. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to head on over right now after the live stream. Go to the link that I'm posting right now, and that's for Miss Jess's YouTube channel. She's Are you almost done uploading all your stuff, or you're barely halfway?
Oh, YouTube only lets me upload like 10 videos a day. And then
Yeah.
I have to download it, right? So I'm in the process of still downloading the videos from TikTok. And then I have to go into YouTube and retype all of my titles, all of my captions, all of my hashtags, organize the playlist. It's just a lot of work.
But for now, like if you guys like everything that the content that she shared with us, you can catch these are the most recent ones right here that we're seeing. Like,
No, not the most recent.
yeah.
I'm still working on that. But I mean, if anything, if you guys have TikTok, you can follow me there for now. It's at Miss Jess 808. I'm also on Instagram. I don't really post like missing person cases stuff on Instagram. I mostly post like lifestyle and like Hawaii stuff and like my job stuff there, like as a radio person, and like the events that I work. So I normally post that on my Instagram. But if you'd like to follow me there, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Miss Jessica 808. Yep. And then my Instagram is at Miss Jessica. Just my name spelled out fully.
There you guys have it, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Jessica, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. And it was just from one day to another. I think it was like 2 days or a day ago that I messaged you, and I want to say thank you for taking the invitation.
Yeah, of
And
course. Yeah. I'll definitely reach out when I'll talk to Melissa and then we can coordinate something.
yeah, whenever you have the chance, 'cause I know there's a lot of things going on too. And once again, props to you for getting all this together, man, because it's not information that you just find, and
Yeah,
especially you verified a lot of stuff. So
definitely. And then to you guys and whoever, you, especially you being in LA, and to anybody else who's living in LA, like much prayers to you and your community for having to deal with the fires. Us not locally here in Oahu, but also we dealt with like the fires in Lahaina. So just much prayers out to you guys and everybody that's kind of going through it now, and just hoping that they stay safe and that they keep their families safe.
thank you once again. Well, there you guys have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna catch you guys maybe Sunday or this week. I'm gonna take off. I had a lot of fun. I got a lot of information.
Ew, it
There's
was
still
fun.
a lot of stuff that I couldn't ask or get out because it's just
I know it's so much information. It really is. I feel like we just skimmed the rim on this.
yeah, it was
Scratched
just like
the
on the
surface. Yeah,
go.
yeah.
All right. Well, Jess, you have a good one, and
Thank you. Thanks
talk
for
to you
everyone
soon.
for watching.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. All
Okay.
right. You guys have a wonderful one. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Okay, good night.
All right, ladies. You guys have a wonderful one. Catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget, before I forget, head on over to Miss Jess's podcast website on YouTube. I said website, YouTube channel, and subscribe because she's got a lot of good information, details, and I'm excited. I'm excited for her YouTube channel, and hopefully YouTube's still up, so that way she can keep on posting more and more stuff. My TikTok is Activate LA, but I haven't posted much there yet. But I'm gonna have to start posting more stuff. Hopefully it doesn't get deleted. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and check out the episode from beginning because it was a good one. It was a really good one. If you have any questions, drop a comment. I'm gonna read the comments. I usually read the comments. And if you would like to contact us as Instagram, the same thing. Yeah. At active actually is IG at Activate LA Radio. And Twitter is Activate LA. On Twitter, I usually post videos that I can't post anywhere, videos that I can't post here on YouTube. So I'm more active on X. Still waiting for the cobbler. Yeah. What's the cobbler? All right. Well, I got to wake up early. Once again, shout out to Miss Jess. Make sure you guys subscribe to her YouTube channel. Follow her on TikTok. That's Miss Jess 808. And check out her stuff. Go to TikTok right now. Go ahead and check out her videos. Thanks again. Thank you, Destiny. Thank you. Shout out to everybody. Thank you, Lupe Granados, Justice Jane, Beanie, the whole fan band, man. Kari, Jerry Inuye, sorry about that. Kayla, shout out to Kayla. And Ryan 420. You guys have a wonderful one. Where's my out screen? It's right here. Look, boom. All right. You guys have a wonderful one. I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe. All right. Peace.